Alrighty, welcome back. Guess who? Welcome back to this open chat live for July 21st. What's happening for this evening? I just got back from a late dinner at a Mexican restaurant here across the river. So we'll talk a little bit about, cassette comeback maybe. I read an article about a cassette comeback. I don't know. Are cassettes coming back? All right, let me check a few things here. Okay, looks good there. I got my article up. Okay, we'll give this a few minutes. See if anybody pops in the chat for this evening. All right. A little slow tonight for some reason. Okay. Hello, Keegan. Hello, Lamer Linux. Welcome. Terry Love, our cassette's coming back. If so, I hope they improve the tape drive system. It's hard to find top dollar cassette decks nowadays. I'm not sure they make them. I don't think so. I don't think they make them. Like Pioneer and Nakamichi, Sony. Steve's very own, welcome, hello. But we'll talk about that a little bit. AJ, Abu Kadir. He says, hi, are you a Jew? No, I have a lot of friends who are Jewish. Love them all. It's a strange question, but welcome to the stream. Roberto Fitzpatrick. Hey, hello, Robert. How are you? What's new? Labor has an 01 Dodge Dakota. That is a truck. Has a cassette player. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I have lots of cassettes. I have even some blanks left from Maxell. Hello, Ben. Bud, Homan. Hey. Pooh says you always have to ask. You do? Hey, I'm freaking Italian. I'm not Jewish, but hey, I like all people. What can I tell you? Wayne Baker. Hello. Wayne, if you are new, I think you are. We have a custom here on the channel. Everybody, please say hello to Wayne. If you're not new, welcome anyway, Wayne. Tim is in the house. Brother Tim. Steven Anderson. Doing good, Ben. So, Wayne, welcome to the live stream for tonight. Your name does not ring a bell, so welcome. Steve Gunick says, oi. Hello. Terry had a whole load of C15 cassettes from the days when computers used them. Wow, that's going back, yeah. Yeah, say hello to Wayne, please. Tim O is in the house. Welcome. Good evening to all. Wayne, do you use Linux or just Windows or Mac or use all three or two? Um, Maybe share some of your experiences if you don't mind. Ben says your best friend Lisa is watching too. Hi, Lisa. Um, a quick update for next week's show. Um, I think we'll do another timely topic. Wayne has used both Windows and Linux. Okay, cool. Which forms of Linux? Debian based, Ubuntu, Linux Mint. Do you dual boot or you do not dual boot? Just curious. Thank you, Bud. He says great show last night. Yeah, these shows are possible with your support. You can support the stream, support the shows through PayPal or Patreon if you wish. And thank you for all of those supporters. Peter Brown, good evening. Ben is on Gen 2 because he likes torture. Lamer has peppermint on the ThinkPad. ThinkPads for the win. Absolutely. No, Tim. No, I just got in. I wasn't sure if I would be on, Tim. I'll send you a link here in a second. No, there was no email. I was out across the river in West Virginia, and Lisa does not want to join the chat, but says, "Okay, Lisa, chicken." I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, seriously, Lisa. Hi, Ben's a cool dude. Maybe join us next time if you want to. Yeah. What am I going to say? Yeah, I went out to, I met my friend in West Virginia at a restaurant called Spicy Gringo. Of course. Picked up a few loads, a few cubanos. No, I had a couple tacos, some beans. Anyway, he's a friend of mine out of Pittsburgh who sings, has a love of song, and he sings the Great American Songbook. Songs from like Cole Porter, Frank Sinatra, songs like that. So, yeah, he normally. Hi, Heather. Hi, Anna Rita. Normally, he would have his wife, one of my best friends from high school, and then his mother-in-law would show up too. But to make a long story short, it was just him. So I didn't stay that long tonight. I just got home not too long ago. So I figured, well, my night was a little bit short. So I figure I would, uh, Lisa says for Toss to put a thong on his head. Put a thong on my head. I don't have a head thong. Why would I want to do that, Lisa? Oh, man. Lisa, if it'll make you feel better, maybe I can make a makeshift thong. I should have a Linux thong here somewhere. Actually, I should be wearing my Toskini for Lisa. I mean, I'm pretty decent shape, 6'2", 190. I can still kick somebody's behind. Thong, as in Australians call flip flops. Sure, yes. Thong on my head. What was I saying? Yeah, so I was with a friend of mine, the Jimmy Z trio. Great bunch of guys, great friend of mine. I have some video on my phone. Maybe I'll edit it tonight or tomorrow, and I'll post it up as a vlog. You guys can check it out. But great bunch of guys, Jimmy Z trio. But anyway, I wasn't sure how long I would be out, so it was a last minute thing. So that's why I didn't post up a announcement or anything. I know she's joking. I know. I sometimes I have like a Weather Channel hat on that I wear, but you know what? It's in the garage, so yeah. I have an HTC hat, but no hat tonight. Just my new. How does Lisa like my new shirt? Lisa, do you like this color? You like my shirt? Maybe if Thos wears a thong, it might bring in more ladies. It's true, but I would be demonetized. Not that I make that much anyway off my AdSense, but it would bring in the ladies. I could do like a I could do like a I could do like a virtual lap dance. Heather likes the pink. Yeah, I got the pink too. I think it needs washed, but anyway. But yeah, I like this shirt. Anyway, I got these at JCPenney because they carry tall men's shirts as a plug for JCPenney. But yeah, I'll consider the thong next time. No, unless I meet you at the beach or something. But oh, Anna Rita, my shirt is your favorite color. Well, thank you, Anna Rita. I always trust the ladies. Ah, toss, shouldn't that be a pole dance? No. Nope. No. It'll be a lime sparkling water dance. La 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 la. Well, Lamer, the thong wouldn't be for you. I can't believe where this conversation's going. Okay, hang on a second. Let me get some friends on to join. I am 6'2", Heather. Anyway, ladies, Anna Rita, Heather, Lisa, thank you. Yeah, I like light colored shirts. I always have since my days living in Florida. So, this is running slow tonight. Anyway, let's get Tim in here. Ben, would you like to join? Let me know. We're working on demonetization. Yeah, I get enough people joining me on PayPal or Patreon. I'll be happy to turn off the ads. I'll do like the Italian thing. Hey, YouTube, here's your ads. Up yours. Be nice. Be nice. All right, Ben, hang on. But I do have a channel update before I forget. Give me a second here. I'll send out another invitation to Ben and Lisa, or just to Ben. All right. I send out invitations to Tim and Ben. Hey, Mark. How are you? 5'1", 5'10". I guess I'm the tallest. Yeah, my son now is taller than me, a little bit taller than me. Yeah, kids do grow up, obviously, faster nowadays, it seems. Carbon programmer Google. Name rings a bell. Doing pretty good, Mark. Okay, yeah. If you would like to help support the stream, the channel, you can go to Patreon. Just search Talks Today, TOS Today. Okay. And sometimes I do private chats for ahead of time for you guys who support the channel. Hello, Ben.
Oi. Yeah, I'm on Gen 2 right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried to get the old GNOME 2 on here, and it did not go very well because it's, so old. I finally just
Okay.
gave up and put KDE and Mate on. No, not Mate, XFCE on it. And, that worked. Oh, yeah. There's another thing I wanted to show you. Oh, if I can unplug my laptop. Look at that. I'm not sure if you can see that. You see that computer over there? That's mine. Sorry, it's kind of, not very lit in here. It's a black. That is a Roswell case, and it's turning into a Hackintosh.
You like to experiment, don't you?
Yeah, it's using an NVIDIA GT240 graphics card is what it is. The case is kind of tiny, so it's not exactly easily seen, but yeah. Also, do you remember me asking you to look at my Manjaro? It's
Yeah, I haven't. I think you did or got an email or
I did.
something.
I emailed you the link, but you never did a video about it.
No, I haven't. In fact, I was actually thinking about testing Manjaro after 2 years. Now
Yeah,
that you mention it,
yeah.
yeah,
I would
yeah.
recommend. I would recommend. I would recommend. Trying mine because it has a lot of pre-installed stuff on it. So yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
Um,
I'm thinking about putting it. Excuse me. Putting it on this Lemur laptop here from System 76 and
okay.
updating it. So they're coming out with a new version 18.0.
Okay.
And I would not download the old one because you can have a boatload of updates. And when I get done remastering it again, I'll resend you the link so that way you can look at it. So,
Okay. Hi, Tim.
What's up?
What's up, man?
how are you, Tim?
Not bad. How are you, Ben?
Crank up your volume, Tim.
We can hear you, but it's very.
Come on, I know you got a big mouth. You can do better than that. Just
Yeah.
kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I got two words for you, brother, and they ain't let's dance.
Yeah.
Let's dance. You'll say we'll dance. I'll dance, David Bowie, with you.
Yeah.
Is that any better?
Say it again.
Is that any better? Test.
Slightly louder, slightly better.
Okay. How's this?
Okay, good. Steve Gunnick says, GNOME 2, forget about it. Is that because forget about has multiple meanings like the F word, the other F word? Does that mean forget about GNOME 2 and ain't good, or it is GNOME 2 and forget about the rest? So which is it, Steve?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of,
I think
Where's your friend
GNOME.
Lisa, Ben?
I think GNOME 2 is just.
yeah.
It's so old. Just forget about it.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Uh,
She's on Star Wars right now, and
oh, okay. All right.
her computer, given it's kind of low end, it can handle the game just fine. But being on Hangouts or YouTube or something while she's on,
Right.
it's hard for her to be on a call.
I completely understand about low-end computers. Not a problem. Does she use Linux at all or just
He doesn't know shit about Linux.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I said not get you demonetized.
That's okay. That's
Well,
okay.
either way, yeah, she doesn't know jack crap about Linux.
Okay.
She knows about Windows just fine, but not a Linux girl.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Now, I was on DistroTube's live stream one night, and there was a Linux girl named Katrina there who's also shares the same name with my sister. And
Oh, okay.
I met this Katrina person, and I'm dating her.
Okay.
Yes. So anyway,
Cool.
she's from Tucson, Texas. She's 34, soon to be 35, and she likes Linux also. She's not as good as me at it, but
Well, welcome to the Toss Dating Channel.
shit.
Let me give you advice about women as soon as I get some.
Oh man.
Everybody, anyway, welcome everybody in the chat for this open chat for Saturday. Like I said, I was out. I didn't know how late I'd be out, so that's why I don't want to make an announcement to be on. I left earlier. Anyway, I was with a friend of mine who's also a singer. He works out of Pittsburgh as a financial advisor. But anyway, he sings. He sings American classics. So I left earlier. It wasn't a big crowd tonight, and that's fine. But his other family members couldn't make it, so there was nobody else to catch up with, as it were. So I left early, and that's why I am here. Anna Rita says, "How tall am I? Tall enough?" No, I'm 6'2".
Yeah.
Carbon says you found my channel through Switch to Linux. Thank you, Switch to Linux, another very good Linux channel. Of course, with this channel, there nowadays versus 10 years ago, there's a lot of good, really solid, and you know who they are, good Linux channels. I don't do exclusively Linux anymore. Hence why years ago when I started, I put the word total in my channel to make it a total package, as it were, total topic package. Speaking of that, as I catch up here in the comments, how many computers does one need? That's a good question, Andrew. I have multiple ones, but really to do YouTube, you need one good, up-to-date, fast one, in my opinion, and then maybe have just one backup, not necessarily the same specs, but just have a backup. And that's all you need. I mean, I got more than that, but really all you need is one good, solid, fast computer. As far as the channel updates, I think the topic, well, thank you, Anna Rita. You are tall, tough, but you have the heart of a giant. Thank you.
Aw.
You're going to make me cry. I'm fine. Thank you, Steve. I think, speaking of a heart, I do have a heart for kids because I raised one. I think next week's topic may be the second most important video I will ever do. There seems to be a disturbing trend about infant deaths inside hot cars.
What the heck?
Yeah, Google it. It's really sad, disturbing. I don't know how parents can get so distracted with life and technology that what's happening, evidently, to be serious for a second, deadly serious, they're forgetting that they have kids in the baby seat in the car. They lock the car, and the kids don't make it. They pass away of heat in a hot car. So this has been going on for a few years now. See, when I lived in Florida, which is a hot state, I don't recall many stories like that. This is in the early, this was in the 90s before the technology explosion. So I think there was less distraction back then. I'm not sure. But today it's very sad and it's getting worse. So I thought maybe I'm going to do some research and we'll talk about it next week on how to prevent that. It's sad and it can be prevented. There's new technologies to help prevent that. Now, it will not be a video on criticizing or berating or chastising parents. That's not going to solve anything. It'll be a video on making people aware and how to save kids and cars. I know how can a parent forget their kid? Look, I get it. It never happened to me ever.
Yeah.
But, anyway, I think that'll be next week's topic. So, okay. Toss might be looking for a girl. As long as she knows more about Linux than I do, right on. Wait. And she has to know how to cook.
Yeah.
As long as she's got the pasta down, the red sauce down, and meatballs down, she's good.
Yes.
It's not a long list of requirements, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And she has to, yeah.
And a cannoli if she can do the pastry thing.
Mm.
Wow.
And she has to obey commands, Linux commands.
Yeah. Linux.
Anyway, Steve says it has been going on for decades. It has. It seems like lately, the last 5 years, or maybe I'm wrong, but it's bad. I mean, you can say, how can parents forget? Again, I'm not going to do the video to beat up any parent. That's not going to solve anything, you know.
No, it won't.
But anyway, we'll talk about it. I think I'll do that next week. Ooh, I think those Mexican beans are starting to get to me. Anyway.
Mexican what?
Mexican beans. I went to a restaurant called Spicy Gringos.
Yeah.
West
You look
Virginia
like
here.
you're sweating, man. Shoot.
Anyway.
You look like you're about ready to have a heart attack.
Me? Really?
You
No,
look-
no.
You look sweaty.
I look sweaty. I had a good dinner. I had some hot sauce in it, but anyway. I'll turn my fan on. That's what I forgot to do.
Hot sauce.
Yeah, to cool my cannolis.
That doesn't resonate well with me.
Anyway.
Wow. I wouldn't drink water if you had hot sauce.
No, I had a couple tacos, and anyway, it was good.
Yeah.
I didn't have any alcohol.
Yeah.
I just had a diet Pepsi. Alcohol isn't good when it's in this, when it's hot out or whatever, because it dries you up. But yeah, those of you want to jump about to go see Biddle, be my guest. Don't worry, I won't call Sicily on you. Don't worry about it.
I would.
Okay, on second thought, let me. Where's my phone? Here it is. No, just kidding.
Start taking some names. Looks like we're gonna need a couple of caddy trunks.
I know, we got 3 people bailed on me because they got to go see Biddle.
How about this?
I'm just kidding.
Get a minivan.
A big minivan.
Oh, snap.
David Ornella said, hey, man, don't make fun of Mexicans. And you know, man, I make fun of Mexicans, Italians, New Yorkers. You don't have to tell me nothing, man, okay?
Oh, snap.
Yeah, I'm an equal opportunity offender. Wait, that didn't sound right. Scratch that. Just having fun.
Oh boy. There went the money.
Demonetized. That's okay. I got what do I have? I have 7 patrons on my Patreon. Woohoo.
Oh man.
A few hundred more and I'll be in good shape. And I can tell YouTube, you can take your AdSense and anyway, I can't say that.
Take this job and Yogi Master 88 is running Deepin OS tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, in that case, if you're doing that, I don't have to call Sicily. You're in pain already, man.
Yeah, no.
Paid already.
And he wanted a link too.
Oh, he did? Okay, hang on. I missed it. Let me go to the link.
Ricky.
Ricardo.
Ricky.
Ricky Ricardo.
Deepin. You can send him a link. He won't be able to get on. I doubt.
Not with Deepin.
Now with Deepin.
Oh,
Ricky.
It's busy trying to find a mirror on some planet out in the solar system.
Yeah, I know.
Pull updates from.
I know.
I for the kid.
I know you cement, Steven, and no cement, man. No. It kills the gas mileage. Get it? Kills the mileage. Never mind.
Oh man. I wouldn't be surprised if he has troubles getting on anything.
I'm surprised he's even able to chat with Deepin.
I know. Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I tried Deepin a couple times. Like, really? I'm wasting my life with this? Never mind.
Yeah, I would have said the same thing. What is this crap?
David just threw me a question saying, did I have problems with POP 1804 extensions? No, I didn't, David, but POP OS, when I was running it, I only had, outside of the POP extensions that come with it as the base install, I had I had an extension for the weather. Open Weather, I think, is the name of the extension.
Yeah.
And I had what the heck else did I have? I had CPU Freak, CPU FREQ, CPU frequency running, and I had one other one.
Hey man.
And
coming live from Deepin OS.
Don't blame us.
Liar. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
But outside of those couple of extensions, I never had I didn't have any problem whatsoever. The one thing that I did notice is I tried to install the Ubuntu dock extension, and that one didn't work, so I had to use dash to dock. So, but I did not have any problems with the extensions that I used. He said he couldn't get the applications extension to work. Is that the applications menu extension, David? I'm guessing. If you're having problems with extensions running on GNOME, this is kind of a blanket statement for all folks. Every so often, if you go to extensions.gnome.org and you're pulling the extensions and you're installing them from there, if you scroll down through the comments, you may see that people were having problems with an extension on, say, a current version of like Ubuntu or something, and they will post fixes in some of those comments. Very, very good website, very helpful website.
I found Deepin slow. Not as slow as their mirrors. I don't think they have mirrors. I think they hired a couple turtles.
Carrier pigeons.
Carrier turtles. Forget pigeons literally fly compared to the snails.
Well,
and that happened to me twice. And they said, well, you got to refresh this, do that, split the atom, paint the house, redo forget about it,
Well, as far as I know, it's actually working very well, shockingly. I don't know.
He moved to China since last night.
Yeah, you're live from China, duh.
And he's got an Ethernet cable plugged into their servers.
I don't know what happened, but I must have hit a really good kernel.
Maybe.
Now, what they did, they were able to hook up their repositories through Russia and nice and fast.
Toss, when you looked at Deepin, what did you overall? I think I watched one of your videos. What did you overall think of the Deepin desktop environment?
It was different. I thought it looked pleasant to the eyes. It was definitely different, unlike anything else I've seen in general for Linux, if I recall. But it was sluggish. It just ruined the whole experience. And doing the updates, Tim, it happened to me twice. I said, you know what? No more.
Yeah.
Steven is in the house.
Steven,
how are you?
Yeah, and he's out of the dark. Yay!
Hi, Ricky.
Evening, Steve. How you doing?
All right.
Hello, Don,
Steve.
in chat. Welcome,
Steve. We were just going to have an intervention for Ricky. He's running Deepin this evening.
Oh boy.
It's actually working great.
That's okay. He'll be gone in 5 minutes. Ricky, see you later, buddy.
Well,
I mean, it's a pretty desktop, but it's I don't know. I checked it out and I didn't like the workflow of that.
Ricky, just wait till those servers catch up in the Russian back doors in China. And as soon as they get word that I'm Italian with connections to Sicily, they're going to, oh, no, shut it off. He's going to call Uncle Guido. No, shut it off. No. Anyway, David loaded Solidex 9. Looks great too. Fantastic. Okay, nice. I don't think I've tried Solidex, have I? I don't remember. After 2,000 videos, I'm like,
Isn't that a Linux distro?
Yeah, there's two versions of it. There's like Solid X and Solid K, right?
Right.
One of them's based on Debian, and the other one's, I think, Manjaro or something.
I guess they're solid.
Yeah.
One of the distributions I tried some time ago that I thought actually worked really good was Neptune OS.
I remember that. Yeah.
Neptune.
I've never heard of that one.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know it either.
I think Neptune kind of transitioned, and I think they turned into like Maui Linux or something goofy. They transitioned from what they were to something new, but it was a pretty solid distro, and that was back kind of in the day when Solid X and Solid K were kind of popular.
Carbon programmer, you're learning Chinese? Really? Wow.
That's interesting.
Cool.
The one thing I find interesting about Deepin as a whole is every single menu you could imagine is in this giant sidebar here.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
the settings
Yeah.
daemon or whatever.
Yeah.
The settings panel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I kind of like that. I've always kind of been a GNOME user. I've really liked the GNOME stuff.
This sidebar actually reminds me of Windows Vista a little bit with the whole sidebar gadget thingy.
Oh God, Vista.
I didn't mind Deepin. The only problem I had is this: I couldn't get it. No matter what I tried, I couldn't get it to update.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Get it to update.
Well, I actually managed to shockingly, to install updates tonight.
Huh. Amazing.
Okay. Well, as long as it works.
As long as it works for you, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yep.
So I was talking about our cassettes coming back, making a comeback. There was an article a couple months ago on the Grammy Awards on the Grammy.com, and it says here, it's no joke, cassettes have fast-forwarded in popularity and reemerged as the underdog music format of choice for experiential listeners, whatever that means. Let me see here.
I think we have a TV or a radio on in the background again.
Yeah, something, yeah.
Hold on just a minute.
He's watching Deepin TV.
Is my audio? Is it saying shielded?
I don't know, but it's gotten louder now.
It's gotten louder now, Ricky.
Yeah.
Oh, Rod.
Yeah.
There's gotta be something I can do.
Take your laptop to the bathroom, shut the door. No.
Oh.
Actually, I know how to solve this problem. I'm gonna leave the Hangout and switch to the laptop to see if that fixes it.
See? Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna switch it.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Yeah, I used to have a pretty good cassette collection, and then one day I came home and my wife decided, since we were had been on digital, got rid of all my tapes.
Oh my God! Really?
And I do, and a lot of them I had recorded myself, like off the radio net, like old radio programs.
Oh geez. Okay.
Yeah,
I
not
pretty much
happy.
have most of them. I even have some blanks from Max L, Type 2 Chrome. They used to call I think 1 or 2 metal tapes.
Yep, the good ones.
I mean, if you, I remember back 80s, 90s, early 2000s. If you had a good top quality tape deck, they could sound almost as good as, well, definitely as good as vinyl, and almost as good as CD, depending on the machine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, machines from like Pioneer, Nakamichi, and some others. It says here, vinyl has made a record-setting comeback. Get it? Records. Okay. In recent years, still not music's fastest-growing physical medium. The fastest-growing physical medium is cassette tape. Wow. Cassette tapes in the U.S. have more than quadrupled since 2011. 174,000 tapes sold last year.
I'll be mad.
Guess that's a lot. Cassette pressings for releases like Taylor Swift, Jay-Z, Lana Del Rey, Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack on cassettes.
Huh.
I mean, these are fairly big names.
How are you going to play them mobily? You can't even buy a car with a cassette deck in it anymore.
I don't think you can. You could probably find them up to the year 2010, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't
because
know.
now even if you buy a stripped down car, it's just going to have an AM/FM radio, and if you
right
up the radio, it'll have a CD player in it, right?
Right. Yeah, I suppose you can get a portable cassette player and plug it in through the headphone jack. It says here, classic acts like AC/DC, the Wu-Tang Clan are getting in the trend. Okay. There's even Cassette Store Day. Each October for the past 5 years, independent labels have made exclusive tapes by artists like Green Day, White Stripes. It's about showing stores that they can sell cassettes. I mean, I know vinyl has grown by the millions for whatever reason. And there's something to be said for an album, you know, with the cover and like in liner notes and looking at the photographs. You know what I mean? I think it's nicer that way than a small CD.
Yeah. Well, a lot of audiophiles say that with like albums and that, because they're analog, they have a warmer sound. It's not so crisp and, you know, the clarity might not be there, but they talk about a warmer sound.
Yeah. Let's see.
Mugen said his first computer had a cassette drive for storage, no hard drive. My first computer was a TI, a Texas Instruments 99 4A, and it had plug-in cartridges for applications and games. But the only storage I had was a cassette deck.
Let's see. For artists, the draw is as much financial as as it is sentimental. Cassettes are cheap to produce. $1.50 per tape to produce versus $5.80 per vinyl record. That's a big difference. $1.50 per tape versus $5.80. I could see why artists would go that route.
Yeah, but vinyl records though, Toss, one thing you got to remember is vinyl is a petroleum product. So as the price of oil goes up, price of vinyl will go up.
Okay. Still, it's quite
that's a big difference. How much does it cost to press a CD?
Let me see if it says here. With cassettes, there was a lower risk financially. Let's see if it says anything about CDs. Pressing vinyl is extraordinarily expensive. Okay. Let's see. I don't see anything about CDs. Let me scroll down. Yeah.
I almost think CDs they could do for less than $1.
I don't know. He says here, while working on his car, his MP3 player broke. He stumbled on a used bookstore that sold tapes for $0.25. They had a whole bunch of albums I really liked. In the matter of a summer, I went from 10 cassettes to 50 in his collection. 7 years later, this person has 600 tapes from the 90s, such as Foo Fighters, Nirvana. Interesting. I don't see anything about CDs yet. I figured vinyl would come back again because of the, like you said, has a warm sound to it. Again, the full cover, liner notes, photographs. I think that's always nicer than a small CD. So I figured vinyl would come back. Tape surprises me a little bit. And that's the fastest growing medium, according to this article. Imagine that.
I'm back.
Okay.
Is this any better at all?
I'm still hearing someone in the background.
Dang it.
I got not a huge record collection in that, but I have a USB turntable that I haven't used it for a while, but I plan to do some videos on recording some albums with Audacity, because I learned how to do a lot of editing with it and taking out noise. It actually sounds pretty good, and it's not too hard to do.
Okay. I don't think you can buy a decent tape deck anymore, can you?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Probably on eBay or even Amazon, but at the store, no.
Ricky, the background noise is really loud.
Sounds like a party going on.
I got other family members in the house.
Oh, okay.
I think I know one more trick to do it. I'm just going to get into Hangouts through my phone. Hold on.
Okay. Let me see. Let me go to Amazon real quick and see what tape decks run real quick.
Yeah, I'm surprised sometimes you guys don't hear my son. He can get kind of loud.
How old's your son, Steve?
He's 23. And he forgets that other people are in the house.
Okay.
20? No, come on now.
He's a young adult with he's high functioning autism.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, he's very functional, very good. But then he gets to be a typical kid and starts cranking his game music.
Sure.
Let's see. Looking on Amazon, a lot of used. Looking for new. Used, discontinued, used.
Who would have been a big tape deck producer back, say, in the 80s? Who would have been a
Marantz, Pioneer,
Panasonic,
Sony, Techniques.
Yeah, I had a Techniques dual deck.
Nakamichi was a higher end one. But yeah, on Amazon, there's like, they're all used. Oh, wait. Here's one that's new from Pile. Yeah, I trust that one for $94. Sure. That's the only new one? Wow.
I'm searching Pioneer's USA website right now.
Okay.
I just typed in cassette into their search, displaying zero results.
Wow. Apparently they haven't making a big enough comeback yet.
Nope.
No. See, the problem with buying used, even if it's a high-end used, who knows if the motor is worn out, the tape drive, the heads, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like buying a used VCR. How used is it?
Yep.
Yeah, so I know they have the capability of producing really good sound, but you got to buy new, in my opinion. But yeah, there's nothing really new. Wow. Okay. Kenwood was another name. Let me just do a general search. Let's see here. Nakamichi is mentioned. Denon, whatever.
Denon.
Denon, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see. Ion.
Yeah, Ion makes a lot of stuff, VCRs and tape decks and that you plug in your computer USB so you can record your stuff digital.
Right.
I'm back.
Okay, man.
Is this any better?
Much better.
Yeah.
Okay. Sadly, I could not re-put the link in my Chrome browser, in my Chrome browser to get in that way. So I had to pretty much take the back route and go through Hangouts and join the call. Join the call that was already in progress.
Got it. Okay. Here's a Nakamichi tape deck. Holy crap! Used for only $3,990.
What?
What?
I've never heard of that.
I know they were high end, but 3,000. No, thank you.
Aren't there some high-end turntables out there right now that are like 10,
Yeah.
12, 15 grand?
I know they can be high, like for DJs, quality stuff, but I don't know about that. But I would not be. Wow, these are expensive for Nakamichi. 2,800. Are these new? Still, that seems high. Okay, here's one for 950. Still, wow. I knew Nakamichi was good stuff, but yeah,
I've never even heard of them.
No.
Yeah, Nakamichi, look it up. It's good, but
NAK.
I just have one question. What microphone do any of you recommend that is not only good but shields a lot of background noise?
The Blue Ball mics are pretty good. Snowball, the Blue Yeti. I think you have multiple settings on there where it can be targeted towards you or like on you. Yeah.
Would a Logitech C920 work possibly?
It would, but one of the things you're going to want to do, Ricky, is I've played in studio settings as a musician quite a bit, and the one thing that you want to do is not only is the quality of the microphone good, but the shielding you put on the microphone will make a difference too, whether it is a foam cone or if you have a spit guard on it. That will help get rid of background noise as well.
So basically, if I was to look up on eBay for Logitech C920 shielding, I should be able to find something.
I would think you would be able to.
Isn't a C920 a camera?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's what I got. Yeah.
If I was you, I would look into a high-end headset mic or fairly high-end if you're worried about background noise or shielding. Yeah, that's what I would do.
I've used USB headsets before. I'll look into that.
Okay.
Our friend from Seoul, Wu Young Jian, I hope I'm pronouncing that correct.
Hello.
Has joined us tonight. Nice to
welcome. Nice from Seoul, South Korea. Welcome, everybody. Say hello to Jion.
Greetings.
Yeah,
Greetings.
Come on, give it up for South Korea. Come on.
Welcome.
Steve says, Gunnick says, Nakamichi's good stuff. Yeah. There's a whole bunch on eBay. I guess some are refurbished, taken care of. What they better be for $4,000. I mean, that could buy a lot of cannolis, man. I don't know. Let's see. Cannolis, a tape deck. Oh, I got to go with the cannoli.
Just don't put the cannoli in the tape deck. Oh.
Welcome, Gian. Kay got nickname Zion. Do I have a nickname?
The Italian Stallion.
That's right. Hey, yo. Hey. I use KJE. Too hard to pronounce your name. Got it. Okay. Fair enough, but welcome. So what kind of Linux do you use? And is South Korea even into Linux? Not that they would be into privacy that much, would they? LJ Pellegrino is in the house. Welcome. But anyway, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of tapes left, and really, I play them in my portable boombox that I bought for my birthday this past March. You know, and there's a lot of it plays CDs great, USB great, the radio's good, but the tape deck, there's like wow and flutter. The speed isn't quite right. Not that I bought it to play tapes, but it doesn't sound right. So
sounds like it needs fixed.
Well, I could have sent it back, but you know what? I didn't buy for the tapes that much anyway. So I don't play my tapes. It's that simple. But I mean, and I don't want to spend that much for a tape deck. So, but yeah, cassettes are coming back. So we'll see what happens.
Can't believe an old technology that most of us has used for 20 to 30 years is actually making a comeback.
Well, I suppose there's something sentimental, nostalgic about putting a tape.
Yeah.
You know, I remember the Sony Walkman, right? Tapes. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. I mean, looking at these Nakamichis, 175 used, but again, if you're going to get something used like this, get one that has been refurbished, with the belt has been changed, it's been demagnetized, it's been maintained, you know, if it was me. There's one refurbished for 500.
500 is not bad.
Yeah, free shipping, I would hope. But okay, all right.
The one thing about cassette tapes is, besides being used for music, they were also used as data cassettes for those old school computers.
Right. Yeah, yes. That is true.
That's what I had on my Texas Instruments. Yeah.
Okay. Let me do another quick search here.
Yeah, for anybody who's familiar with Chicago and WLS, or not WLS, the Loop, they would play midnight albums. And when that would come on, I'd pop a tape in the deck, record it off the radio. They play commercial free. And they turn the album over. They would turn the tape over, and I would get albums that way.
Well, I would make mixtapes. I would have my favorite songs on different albums and play them in the car. So I used to do that up until through the 90s anyway.
With cassette tapes, the biggest disappointment I ever had is I really like old time radio, the old Martin and Lewis shows and Abbott and Costello and even Gunsmoke, even some of the westerns and the mysteries. I had about, I don't know, probably at least 50 or 60 cassette tapes that had a bunch of those shows on it. And it got lost during a move. I think it actually got thrown away. It either got thrown away or it went to like the Salvation Army or Goodwill or one of someplace. But I just felt so bad when I couldn't find those things. Of course, as the years went on, I wouldn't have had anything to play them on, but I would have loved to have taken them and put them on digital format in one way or another. But luckily, most of those shows now are part of the public domain, so it's easy enough to go out and grab them and download them. I think
CJ Drummer is selling a '99 Cherokee with the original cassette player. With the '99 Cherokee, the tape player is probably worth more than the vehicle. But anyway,
I'd buy it, park it in the driveway, so I could listen to my tape.
I know, really. Well, it would be cheaper than the $4,000 Nakamichi. How much are you selling it for? I'm just out of curiosity. The CD tape combo, sure. I remember that. C64 data set, yeah.
Even some of the old school computers, which I don't know, other than this from a hobbyist standpoint, what they would really serve in today's world. But like the Commodore 64 and the 128, and what was the one that came out after that, the Amiga or something like that? Those things in pristine condition. I was looking; they're just nuts in price.
So the vehicle is you're selling it for $1,200. Well, there you go. You can get a nice vintage tape player for $1,200 and get a free car tossed in the boot.
I've never even had a chance to use one of those Amiga computers. I heard they were actually good in their time.
I had my first computer was a Texas Instruments, and then I had a Commodore that I pretty much learned BASIC on. And then I had an Amiga, and then after that I didn't have a computer for about 10 years, well, almost 10 years of my life. So,
my brother-in-law was into computers, and he got my first computer was the 86, IBM 86.
Okay.
And then the 286, and it was with DOS 7, 6, 7 or whatever. And then slowly up to a 486 and then to the modern computers and that. But I had the old Matrix printer that he sold me, and that was in 89.
When I had in about, what would it have been? It would have been about 1991 or 92. My wife, soon-to-be wife, and I lived in an apartment, and I had, I think, a 386, and I had one of the Matrix printers, and it was sitting on a stand in our bedroom. And whenever that thing would, if I was doing schoolwork late at night or something, and I printed something, the printer would go off, and within about 30 seconds, I'd get this on the wall from the people next door to us.
Yeah.
Because the printer was making so much noise.
I remember those dots. Yeah.
They'd pound on the wall. But that was back in the old days where I just shut the printer off, went to bed, and I got up and I just left the computer on, and I'd get up in the morning and turn the printer back on without even skipping a beat. It would just start right back up again.
Yeah. Mike was saying, will we have any concept or what did he say? What 2038 will be like? Because we had no concept of 2018 back in 1998. What concept what will we have of 2038? Interesting question. I don't know. What concept do we have for 2038?
My prediction would be is that desktop computing will be a lot more advanced. Of course, it'll be a lot more advanced than it is right now. But the idea of having a single workstation that you use on a day-to-day basis is going to probably be out the window. I don't think I think by 2038, we will not have, with certain exception, we will not have desktop applications any longer. I mean, we're already at the point where so many things are running off the cloud or browser based, but that's going to advance. So it'll be interesting.
I think Facebook will be called Forget About a Book because, you know, who knows how much more data they're going to suck out of you or privacy out of you. You know, since they're saying, oh, fake news is okay, but that's part of our standard. We'll just demote it.
I still think that's like the stupidest mistake they've ever done. The thing is, in my opinion about Facebook, it's only a matter of time before they mess up so bad.
I don't know.
They're gonna have to declare bankrupt.
I don't know.
Will
we have Linux? Yeah, we will. Sure, absolutely.
We will, but Linux is going to change. Linux is going to change on the landscape like everything else, and I see Linux development for small devices, or more portable devices. I see the development in that changing. You got to remember there's a lot of iPads out there that people are either getting sick and tired of Apple, and I would think that sooner or later somebody's going to put a hard look in an approach to trying to develop a Linux OS, a Linux OS for Apple products.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be 138 years old, still talking about Linux, Sonny boy.
I used to have to type on the computer.
What's a freaking keyboard?
Well, in my opinion, I think if we are going to get Linux tablets, which we know we will at some point, I think the best operating system that could put on any one of those tablets is Ubuntu Touch. I mean, it's going to be on the Librem 5. Wouldn't it be simple for the UParts team to re-engineer it for tablets?
LJ says in 2038, MacBook 38 will cost 20 grand. Yeah, but that's just for the screen.
You know, putting Linux on a tablet, Ricky, you would think that somebody would, and I think there is a couple of makers that were trying to launch Linux tablets like within the last, maybe it was 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago, and they had what I would have considered fairly decent hardware. It's just they couldn't get the funding to get it mainstream.
I'm picking up this. I just came across this article from the Wall Street Journal last November. Here's a headline you'll probably never see again. A global shortage of magnetic tape leaves cassette fans reeling.
What?
Okay, who freaking took all the magnetic tape? Give it up.
Took all the tape.
Wow. Okay. Didn't know there was a black market for magnetic tape. Hey, Joey, grab the tape. Come on, take it. I don't know.
I think, in my opinion, with Facebook digging their own grave as is, you're going to see sites like Diaspora and Mastodon pretty much rise up a little more because those two sites are pretty underrated. They're really good.
Yeah, the thing is,
it says here, for fans, a yearning for something you can hold. Okay.
The thing is with things like Mastodon and stuff like that, they haven't caught on mainstream yet because, forgive me if I'm wrong, I'm not that educated with them, but they're primarily being used by open source
Mm-hmm.
folks right now. And
Yeah.
you know, the one thing, going back to the question is whether or not Linux will be around in 2038. You know, that depends solely upon the kernel. And you know, the one thing that Linus Torvalds has not been, you know, not that he has to worry about it, because I think he's like my age. I think he's like late 40s, early 50s. He probably has some time before he has to worry about it. The whole succession of Linux is going to depend on what he has for a contingency plan once he moves on. And even once he moves on, after you get a generation or two beyond who takes it over, who knows? Is it conceivable that somebody like Microsoft could, some way, somehow, possibly in the future, or Google for that matter, or even Apple, for crying out loud?
I pray that's not the case.
Well, you would think so, because again, that goes back to the community, and we are a community of pretty passionate and pretty
true,
pretty believing people. So
yeah, and aside from all the things that Microsoft has done, and aside from Google, but then these big companies over the years, whether it's big or small, have contributed to the open source community from time to time.
yeah, they have. I tend to think that our best, and we've talked about it, you know, quite a bit. I think our best from a Linux standpoint, I think our best bet and our best hope is going to sit with people like Google and people like Amazon. Amazon, you know, this if you just think about the sheer wealth that Amazon has, and I'm not talking money. They've got more money than Lord knows what. But you take the wealth of experience they have with infrastructure, you take the wealth of experience they have from development of infrastructure. Amazon could really, honestly, take an open source product and bring it out to the world, and
they could.
People would latch onto that, I think, quicker than they would with Google. And I think they would for sure latch onto it even more so than they would with any Microsoft products or Apple products, for that matter.
I think, in my opinion, if they were, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make this new Amazon Fire tablet, but we will give the consumer an option. Do you want Fire OS, which is relatively good, don't get me wrong, or do you want maybe Ubuntu Touch or something along those lines? Like, give the consumer a choice of what operating system they want.
Yep. Saint Raphael just said, sad though they are killing small businesses. You know, they are. And, you know, a good case in point is the corner hardware store. Stephen Carmine and I are at the age that we used to remember, and wherever we lived, whether it be a metropolitan city or a small town, there were corner hardware stores. As soon as people like Home Depot and Lowe's came along, and here in the Midwest and around Minnesota, and I think they're kind of, Steve probably has seen them before, Menards stores. They took away the corner hardware stores. But these corner hardware stores now are starting to become more centralized, and they're starting to get a little bit bigger. You know, look at all the Ace Hardware commercials that are on TV. The reason they're doing that is because they have enough revenue to be able to do that type of marketing. So they're making a comeback. But as small businesses start to disappear, Amazon, I think, is going to start to look at it from the standpoint, kind of like McDonald's did, because McDonald's held, for the first 5 years of their life, I think, all of their stores were company-owned stores. And they finally found out that as time went on, hey, if we sell the rights to our name and teach people how to do it our way, we don't have to worry about the company disappearing or getting too big to the point that we can't control it. I could actually see Amazon going to a business model where they would franchise out their name to storefronts and have those storefronts carry a certain level of merchandise that you can feel and touch, but they have the infrastructure to be able to get merchandise from a distribution point to a storefront within a matter of a couple of hours. And as drone deliveries start to come up, that's going to get even more. That's going to get even more easy to do.
Yeah, I would just want to recognize CJ Drummer in the room. He wrote, funny, I ran into you guys. Yesterday I was considering Linux on one of my computers, today for the first time.
Awesome.
Good.
Nice.
Awesome.
Very good.
What are you using right now, CJ?
Another brand of cassette deck. I'm looking at a website. I think it's out of New York. BH Photo Video of Marantz. And they carry new tape decks, it would seem. Marantz Professional Dual Cassette. So I guess this store has some new ones. Dual deck. Signal to noise ratio 58. That's not good though. That's not good at all. You want to be close to 90. Yeah. That's
I
not
remember
good.
buying my first tape deck. It was a Pioneer Super Tuner.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't Pioneer still around?
I think they are.
Yeah, most of the people that were big back in those days, Ricky, the Pioneers and Alpine and Kenwood and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They have moved more so into mobile electronics, car stereos, amps, speakers, things of that nature.
Okay.
All of those people from back, like in the 80s and 90s, well, say 70s and 80s when I was a kid, all of those folks, they continue in one way, shape, or form today, but they tend to be really driven towards mobile electronics.
Okay. All right.
CJ's running XP up through Windows 10 on 5 laptops.
Oh.
Or is that 5 laptops with XP, CJ?
Cool.
Oh, Vista.
Oh.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Cool.
I mean, to think after 10 plus years, Vista is actually somehow, some way still working.
Is Vista end of life now?
It reached its end of life cycle, I think, a couple years back. They cut them off from updates.
When does Windows 7 go away? Summer of
2020.
2020 is the
20.
Okay, so we got 2 years left on Windows 7.
Yeah. The thing about Windows Vista is it would have been good because, and what I mean it would have been good is very simple. They released Vista right before the megabyte of RAM shot up to 2 gigs. So basically most computers back in that time that shipped Vista only had a half gig of RAM.
Yep.
If Vista would have released after the gigabyte shot up to 2 gigs, it would have been a better operating system.
Well, even Windows 7. I helped some people do a computer update here about a month ago, and they were using Windows 7, 32-bit, 2 gig of RAM, non-dedicated graphics, and they had like, I don't know, 300 or 500 gig hard drive somewhere in that area. And we updated them to Windows 10 with 16 gigs of RAM, dedicated graphics, I think 2 gigabyte graphics, and a 1 terabyte hard drive, and it was like going from the Stone Age. It kind of went from having to shoot out at the OK Corral with a with a single shot gun to having a machine gun in their hands. They couldn't believe the difference.
Yeah.
I know there are some people that still use XP. I will say one thing about XP. The one thing, in my opinion, that XP did good for Microsoft back in that time is, if it wasn't for XP, I don't think Windows 7 would be as good as it is now, because XP established the framework to where Windows 7 would be good.
CJ says he's got one Dell with Vista, 2 ThinkPads, good computers with 8.1, and 2 more ThinkPads with 10. Cool.
Windows 7 was a giant leap.
It was.
It just was, and it just worked. It was simple. Yeah, you can't customize it like Linux things, but who cares? It just worked. It didn't require.
Yeah, I liked Windows 7. I mean,
Oh, so did I. The one thing I liked
was the arrow got kind of tiring. Yeah.
Well,
but
it worked. It just worked.
Well, for Windows 7, that's why I switched it to basic most of the time. But the one feature I liked about Windows 7 that they finally made better is the compatibility to use older programs.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. CJ said, "Yeah, these ThinkPads are the best." One word of advice to CJ: the older Dell machine, I'm guessing it's older, it's got Vista on it. You may run into problems transitioning that over to Linux, depending upon how much RAM you have. But most of us that are here kind of agree that if you want a really good experience with Linux, Linux Mint with either the Cinnamon or Mate desktop or Ubuntu Mate would be a really good option for you. And
Peppermint 8 or 9 would work too.
Peppermint 8 or 9 would be good options. And you're going to want to, if you have a machine that you can afford to either wipe or dual boot on, pick one that's got 4 gig of RAM. You're going to have a better experience with 4 gig of RAM as compared to 2 gig. Not to say that it can't work, but you'll have the best experience there. And those distros are going to probably be your best bet. And ThinkPads run notoriously well with Linux on them. There's not a lot of people out there in the world that throw Linux on a ThinkPad and have any nightmares whatsoever.
And it doesn't matter what era the ThinkPad is from, whether it's an IBM ThinkPad or a Lenovo, either ThinkPad will run Linux just fine.
Yep.
That's why you're seeing all these ThinkPads on eBay for $200 or less.
They are awesome machine. I got like 3 of them, and they just work with Linux. They just work. So I mean, they're kind of a little outdated, a little slower compared to today's specs, but they work. So
I mean, sure. Once in a blue moon, you're going to have to replace the ThinkPad's battery, yada yada. But if you can keep the thing running, it'll just work forever.
I got a machine.
There's so many ThinkPads out there. You can get batteries from.
They're not that expensive now.
And you can get a battery for a ThinkPad for what, like off of Amazon. I think you can get them for what, $15.
I got for my HP. I got a new battery for 17.
Yeah, $15 to $20. You can get a new battery.
If you look, I mean, they're not machines I would do video rendering. It would take all week, but they weren't really made for that, But for basic stuff on the web, email, music, play videos.
Mr. Gian asked, our friend from South Korea asked, what was your first OS? And I see Steve had answered saying DOS was his first. My first operating system when I was a kid was essentially BASIC, running on a small computer that plugged into my TV. My first mainstream OS would have been Windows 3.1.
Okay. I think my first, it was 1990 something, mid 90s, and I bought a Packard Bell. I think it had Windows 98. It was a desktop. I think it had like 4 megabytes of RAM. Ooh, that was a lot, And I remember that I couldn't play games as fast. I had to boost it up to 8 megabytes of RAM or something, But that was my first machine. And then from there, I think I went to HP E-machines.
I had an E-machines.
Yeah, it was reliable. Yeah. Who says 4 megs of RAM? I know. That's mega, not gigabyte. Mega. Keep in mind, it was the 90s,
My first introduction on the computers was I'm going to date myself really bad here, but senior year of high school, 1974. Fortran and COBOL had not a clue what I was doing.
Wow.
I remember
that was with the cards and
those.
punching.
Yeah. I mean, those first computers, man. I remember going on. Oh, I can play games, Star Trek, cool. Of course, times
E-machines were cool. E-machines were cool because you buy like a computer in a box. You could go to a retailer and you could buy the monitor, the whole nine.
That's what I bought. I bought it in 2005, 6, because I wanted to play Halo on the computer with my son, who was little. And I was playing it, and it was definitely not a gaming machine. I play it, and if you play Halo or games, when you're shooting or punching or the aliens jump at you, everything should be smooth. It was like slow mo hair. Like if the alien came at you like this, it would be like ballet.
Yep.
Slow motion like this. So I bought a video card and it helped. A voodoo card, as they called it back then.
Yep.
And I cranked down the resolution, got it to work. But the slow motion gaming, the killing, it was really silly. But anyway. Then I went to HP, played well with Linux. Yeah.
I went, what was the first machine? The first machine I put Linux on was an HP netbook. That was the first machine that I put Linux on.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I had owned HP, Compaq, and then they became the same company, I believe, at one point.
Okay.
And E-machines. Yeah, E-machines.
Okay.
And now most of my hardware is HP, but I do have one Lenovo.
I just had this funny question that popped in my head just now. What would happen if somehow, some way, E-machines actually came back?
They're still in business.
I thought they went out of business years ago.
Let me go to the Google and have a look.
Stephen Anderson says he never turned on a computer until 2011. Really? Okay.
Because from what I remember, Gateway bought E-machines, and then a little while later, Acer bought both Gateway and E-machines, and then a couple years ago, Acer announced the E-machines brand would be discontinued.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? You are right, Ricky. I'm looking at the Wikipedia article for E-machines. It says E-machines was a brand of low-end personal computers. In 2004, it was acquired by Gateway, which in turn was acquired by Acer in 2007. The E-machines brand was discontinued in 2013. So they actually, albeit owned by others, they actually made E-machines up until 5 years ago.
I watched a documentary on that.
Okay.
I watched a documentary. I was tripping around on YouTube. I wasn't able to finish it. I was able to watch a few minutes of it, but it was I think it's out on the public domain, but it was a documentary about Commodore that I started watching. And I only got like 10 or 15 minutes into it, and I was just so blasted tired I couldn't watch anymore. But I'm looking forward to watching that. All
I gotta say is this computer industry would be shooken up if Commodore somehow came back.
They tried to bring Commodore back with a Linux-based OS, and essentially what they did is they took a group of people or some investors bought the name, and they created a box that looked like an old Commodore 64, and it was all self-contained within the keyboard case, but it was updated. It had things, it had USB ports. I think it even had an HDMI port for a monitor. And then they came up with Commodore OS. And
Commodore OS.
Yep, and you can look at DistroWatch DistroWatch still has Commodore OS listed.
Huh.
But they came up with a Linux distribution to run on it, and I can't remember what the Linux distribution was. But somebody in the chat, Maverick, this said Commodore is now Amiga Inc. So maybe
Amiga's
they're
back?
Maybe they're coming back. Let's do a look on the Google.
Interesting.
I know Amiga hasn't been in business for 20 years. If they are coming back, this is going to be huge.
Amiga, per Wikipedia, Amiga is a company that holds trademarks and other assets associated with Amiga personal computers. They do have a website. Let's just go to that, see what they have to say.
I had to do a toss and get a snack.
I wonder who's going to talk about food.
You know, when you go to Amiga.com, there's a single page. There's no banners. There's no menus. No nothing. And it says, "Do you remember when Amiga meant friend? We do."
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
I will say, if they are attempting to make a comeback, that means for the first time in 20 years, we get to see that red and white ball just bouncing again.
now it looks like in the latest thing on Wikipedia says in 2012, Amiga completes the transfer of copyrights to somebody named Cloanato. So looks like that was another they were going to try to they're going to try to bring back alive, and it looks like it went elsewhere now. Dead project. Possibly.
We have Barack Obama in the house, or somebody calls himself. Hey, that's fine. That's fine.
I thought he was off celebrating Nelson Mandela's 100th birthday.
Something. Yeah. Hello, Barack. Welcome.
I will say one thing. If any of these very old companies like Amiga, Commodore, Sinclair, all of them, if there is ever one day where one of these old companies is revived, that would shake up a lot of things, because this would be the one thing that Microsoft or Google, nobody would see it coming.
I don't know. I think people like Google are pretty astute. I think they have a room full of guys that sit there, and the only thing that they do is keep a very sharp eye on industry happenings. And with what they've done with the Chrome OS, and now with them bringing Linux apps to Chrome OS, I think they have a room full of people that do nothing other than keep an eye on open source projects.
I wanted to ask Barack Obama here in the chat, do you use a Russian OS?
You can hear the crickets coming from.
I couldn't resist. It's all over the news. What's that one Russian-based Linux? What's it called? I can't remember it now.
Red Star? Black Star?
I don't know. I can't remember. And there's one that's fairly popular too.
Hang on, let me look here. I think DistroWatch, when you do a search, I think you can look for country of origin.
So what do you use, Obama? What do you use? He says hi. Hello.
I will say one thing though. I think if any old school company, but other than Google, if there was an old school company that had at least a decent chance against Microsoft, I would pretty much put all my money in Omega, because back in the day, they had the technology to do great things with their computers.
Is it Rosa? Yes, but thank you, Rosa.
ReactOS. If you look at DistroWatch, if you go by popularity ranking, there's ReactOS. They say Calculate Linux is also Russian-based. Rosa, ALT Linux, Ubuntu, based on Ubuntu LTS, Colibri OS, and Clone OS. So there's 7 of them listed on DistroWatch. ReactOS is the most popular.
The thing about ReactOS, though, it's been in such heavy development for over 20 years. I mean, hardly nothing has been going on with it.
I don't get ReactOS. OS. My reaction to ReactOS is, I mean, I hate this, but really, I mean, at some point, because they wanted to make it mimic or look like or run the Windows XP. Well, that's not necessary anymore.
Yeah, when you look at
basically what they did with ReactOS is they pretty much re-engineered the Windows NT architecture and just made an operating system out of it.
Yeah, that's what it says on DistroWatch. It says OS type is other OS.
Yeah.
Is a free and open source operating system based on the best design principles found in the Windows NT architecture. Written completely from scratch, ReactOS is not a Linux-based system, and it shares none of the Unix architecture. The main goal of React project is to provide operating system which is binary compatible with Windows. This will allow Windows applications and drivers to run as they would on a Windows system. Additionally, the look and feel of the Windows OS, blah, 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 blah. This had a release in April of 2018. But when you look
0.4.9.
Yeah, when you look at the information on DistroWatch, they don't have anything listed as the package management. So I don't know. But again, if it's binary compatible with Windows, it wouldn't have a package manager, right?
Well, I know one thing that ReactOS does use. It does use Wine.
But they do have some. Well, they have, I guess, more popular.
They do. I mean,
apps. They have GIMP running on it.
They have GIMP,
GNU Cache, Inkscape, LibreOffice 5. They've got some other Linux or Thunderbird and Firefox and VLC. So.
Well, the thing about Firefox is whether you're using Chrome or Firefox, the latest version of either one of those should work fine on ReactOS.
Well, the thing is trying to install it though.
Yeah, true.
For instance, they have GIMP listed at 2.8, and I think 2.10 is out now. So trying to install something is going to be kind of tough. You're not just going to download a deb package or run out to a software center.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bud Holman says the Russian OS is called Windows.
Windows,
comrade. I was asked, what do I think of neural interfaces? The Borg. That's what I think. Yeah, I would rather not have them. Given a choice.
The one thing that just came to mind is a whole bunch of desktop environments have been thrown at Ubuntu, and Ubuntu has made all of them look great. What desktop environment has Ubuntu haven't done yet?
We'll have to ask DT. He's into desktop environments testing anyway.
Well, I don't think they've done Deepin.
They haven't done. They haven't done an official. There's, as far as I know, there's no official or community-based Deepin. There's no community or spin of what's that one desktop that you tried on that OS here like a month ago, Toss? Trinity.
Which one? Yeah.
Did you? Yeah, Trinity desktop. I don't think they've got that on it yet.
That was bad.
The one desktop that I did find that it has in its repositories is Cinnamon.
I'll be right back.
They don't have a Pantheon spin either. The elementary desktop. But I mean, it's probably easier to list what desktops they have. They've got. Yeah. They still officially support Unity. Unity is going to be officially supported until 2021, and probably beyond that. They'll probably. I would guess that in 2019 or 2020, there's going to be an official flavor with a continued developed Unity desktop.
That would be nice. I mean, Unity. Out of all the times I've used Unity, it just works. It is so good.
That's what I'm running right now. I got sick and tired of dealing with all the 1804 stuff, and then I went back to elementary based on 1604. But elementary, I believe they're doing some things to bring some new technologies up into the current stable release from their upcoming release, so it's just not running that great. But Ubuntu right now has GNOME proper, right from Canonical. Then they've got Veggie Chips. Then they've got Ubuntu with Plasma.
KDE.
Yep. They've got Ubuntu, which is currently LXDE, but it is transitioning to LXQT.
LXQT, I've seen that on a few distros. I've seen that in Red Core Linux, and I've seen that I've seen that in Gentoo as well.
Yep. And then they've got Ubuntu, of course, with XFCE. They have Linux.
XFCE is just amazing. It's just so good on no matter what Linux you throw it at, it just works phenomenal.
And then they've got the Budgie desktop environment, Ubuntu Budgie. But now Budgie, the Solus project, has kind of reined in Budgie. They've kind of brought Budgie, I think, close to their chest. So I don't know. This might be misspeaking. If I am, point it out in the chat. But I tend to wonder if the Ubuntu Budgie project will continue, depending upon what Solus does with the Budgie desktop.
If Solus actually positions themselves to get all rights to the Budgie desktop, then to replace the Ubuntu Budgie Canonical is going to have to put another flavor in there.
Well,
most of the flavors are community, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I think that's all they've got for desktop. But the nice thing is that most of the, let's just say, one-off desktop environments that are out there, like the Deepins, and even LXQT is not that well known of a desktop environment yet.
Yeah, I've never tried to install that on Ubuntu. That gets me wondering if it would actually work on it.
You can go out and grab the PPA for just about any desktop and throw it on vanilla Ubuntu.
Mm-hmm.
You can take Ubuntu as it stands right now. You can download 1804, and right from the repositories, you can pull in a vanilla GNOME. So you're not using the Ubuntu desktop. I think is what they renamed their GNOME experience. But you can get most of those DEs right from the repositories. You can throw Synaptic into Ubuntu, and you can pull a lot of those desktop environments in.
I see Mugen is saying Biddle is stealing my crowd, including some of my regulars. Those regulars ain't going to be around much longer.
We have the Velvet Line minivan going.
I know. Jeez, I got it all cleaned out and bleached, bit, and waxed. And now I got to break it out again. I tell you.
Terrible, terrible, terrible.
The one thing that disappoints me so much about GNOME Free, it's not the way it looks. I mean, it looks phenomenal. It looks good. It's just the one problem that I think most people have with GNOME Free, and this is just my personal opinion, is the speed of it.
Which one?
It's not GNOME Free. I don't think GNOME Free is, in my opinion, fast enough.
You know, I've been a GNOME guy, and here to be 100% transparent, the reason I'm a GNOME guy is I use virtual desktop environments. I typically have, right now, just doing this, I've got 3 desktop environments filled with different things. And for me, using things like Cinnamon isn't so bad because you can create a hot corner.
Yeah, true.
Pantheon from Elementary, there's a hot corner. On Ubuntu 16.04 on the Unity desktop, you have to throw Unity tweaks at it to get a hot corner. But I don't like XFCE, Mate, and some of the other more traditional looking desktop environments because I don't want to have one little set space up on the say menu bar to have to switch desktop environments. I want to be able to just switch the desktop environment with a mouse move and a scroll on my wheel. And that I just got used to that as part of my my workflow, and that's because I was able to do it with Unity. And Ubuntu, when they switched to the Unity desktop, not too long after that, you were able to assign hot corners, and that's just one of those things that I just got so used to. And nothing against all of those other desktop environments out there, I just got so used to that I find it just that's what I want to use. Plasma, I think Plasma, I think you can do something with hot corners, or you can do something with putting your mouse, up against the top edge or bottom edge of the screen to switch desktops.
Yeah.
Problem that I've got with Plasma is that by the time I get done configuring it the way I want it, lo and behold, in my experience as of late, something will bust. And then I have to go back through and I have to figure out, what did I do with an argument with two different settings that caused me to break it? Or is this a broken thing because of the last set of updates I pulled in? And by that time, I'm about ready to pull out what little hair I have left. So I say the hell with it. I go back to
Linux can be predictably unpredictable. I keep saying it, and that's why when you find something like me with the Ubuntu Mate and the Linux Mint a close second and it works, it ain't broken, don't fix it. Just leave it the way it is.
Yep.
With
I
me,
agree.
it's not an issue of making this work. It does. With me, it's an issue of older computer. But in terms of the hardware and matching the software, Ubuntu Mate is superb.
Yep.
Mint is a very close second, if not just as good. Hit the like button. Hey, Raphael, thank you.
I mean, one of the reasons why I installed Ubuntu Mate on my laptop in the first place, because I've used it before on there, and I know it'll work very well.
Yep.
It just works.
And you know what? There's awesome distros out there right now, and I would rather be using in some way, shapes, or form, like Peppermint. I think, Steve, you're running Peppermint 9 right now. I love the operating system. I think they got a cool thing going. Their forums are some of the best you'll ever find. Good people behind a good distribution with good people in the forums. You can't beat it. But the one drawback I've got is getting a hot corner to work to be able to switch my desktops when I want to. And for me, it's not that I dislike any distribution really any more than any, there's not one that I hate per se, but it's this, I want to have that one piece of functionality. And the best way for me to have that one piece of functionality that works great for me, is having that hot corner to switch my desktops. That's the one hang up I've got. And I like having that functionality. But again, that's a nice thing. We have choices here.
Yeah. That's one thing I never really got into, was flipping desktops. I guess organization and maybe workflow wise, it makes sense, but it's just something that I don't know, can never get used to doing.
Yep.
So I don't even think about the hot corner.
For me, what works really good is I have accounts with a investment house, and I get statements and I pull statements, individually with different things. And I have a spreadsheet, and LibreOffice spreadsheet that I plug some of the stuff into. It's easy for me. Cut and paste something off of my web browser, hit the hot corner, scroll the desktop. I've got my spreadsheet full screen, and I can paste it. And that works great for me. Day in and day out, that works great.
Cool. There's one thing about Ubuntu that got me thinking. I know Ubuntu uses a sudo app to install most of their packages, but have you ever heard of somebody in any way, shape, or form bringing the Arch architecture or something in the form of Arch to Ubuntu by any chance?
You mean from a package management standpoint?
Yes.
I don't think they would do that. When you get into the base of the operating system, what the package management's based on, that kind of sticks. So you don't really pull a package management into a different distribution, but what you can do is you can pull the desktop environment from a distribution onto the top of a different package management philosophy. For instance, I think, forgive me if I'm wrong, I'm not too much into the Arch stuff. I've played with Manjaro. I did one Arch install the way that the Arch people say you should do it. Did it once. But I think you can actually get the Unity desktop environment on Arch. I think it takes some work, but I believe that there's some people out there who have done it, and I think there might be some tutorials too.
That's amazing. I mean, bringing Unity to Arch, that's a huge step.
Nope.
You know, it's amazing that when Unity first came out, oh, what are they doing? They this and that and bleeping and go to hell. Now when it's officially gone, oh, come back.
Yeah, everybody's this crying and screaming that it's going away. And you know what? I like it. I'm running it right now.
Yeah, it works. It just works.
It works. It's solid as all crap.
Just works.
Yep. The only thing the only thing I don't like is I like to be able to move on some of the app indicators, you know, that are up in my up on my top bar. I'd like to be able to have some freedom with moving those or changing maybe the way they look. But that's the only hang up I've got. That's the only hang up with the Unity I've got. And you got the same hang up with GNOME too.
Yeah. If I'm correct about Ubuntu Touch, I think at one point, if I'm correct about the Ubuntu Touch operating system in general for mobile phones, that is coming to Librem 5, didn't Ubuntu Touch have some form of Unity in it?
Well, essentially, you know, I don't know that much about, you know, Ubuntu's whole foray into the mobile side of things, but Ubuntu Touch essentially. Unity right now is Unity 7. Unity 8 was on its way when Canonical pulled the plug on it. And Unity 8, and the folks in the chat can probably help out with this question. I believe Unity 8 was kind of the stepping stone to go from a desktop environment and a mobile environment. That was going to be the stepping stone of their convergence. Unity 8 was going to somehow, some way become kind of like OS X as compared to iOS kind of a deal. That was kind of where it was headed. But, you know, when they pulled the plug on it,
from my interview with Alan Pope, who works, you know, Canonical for Ubuntu, but the impression that I got was Unity did not maybe progress as fast, but I got the impression it was more a matter of simple finances. They were losing money to make their own desktop and just apply a lot of resources to move on from Unity 7 to 8, and they said, you know what, we're just going to kill it. You know, they tried to do the Ubuntu phone called the Edge in 2012-ish, around there. That went nowhere, sadly. You know, but you know, it's funny. I mentioned about Unity. Now people are crying it's gone, but it's on the flip side. It's funny that when they decided to go with GNOME, I didn't hear anybody say, "Thank God they picked GNOME." I didn't see that, you know, because back in 2012, people had the same thing. They were saying the same about GNOME 3 and Unity. That's horrible. Why? Well, I had to pick one. And Unity was more user-friendly and less resource-hungry than GNOME 3. You know,
and
so
the one thing, though, about Unity, though, is now that it's supported by the Ubuntu community, the community can decide themselves whether or not to make Unity 8 themselves.
Well, Unity isn't technically supported by the community yet, though, Ricky. The continuation, let's say Unity 7 Plus or Unity 7 Continued, let's just say, or Part 2, that is being worked on by the community, but that is kind of moving more towards the Unity 8 and kind of some of the convergent stuff. Unity 7 is still supported proper by Canonical
until 2021 or something.
Until 1604 leaves.
Right. Yes.
Unity is going to be supported. Now the other thing is that with Unity 7, the likelihood of actual Unity 7 as it sits today, and as it may get a couple of little tweaks and niggles or, you know, ease of use things, it might get some of that. The one thing that Canonical has had to be aware of is there are people right now who are still running that have this transition from, say, Ubuntu 12.04 on servers to Ubuntu 14.04 on servers. And Ubuntu runs a lot of servers, and a lot of those deployments are the Unity desktop. So the community having vested interest in making sure the Unity desktop survives, and there becomes an official flavor of Ubuntu Unity. There's a lot of very, very good premise as to why that would happen. Because all these people that have servers, they'll run say 1604 up until like a year 6 months to a year before end of life, and then they'll move up to the next LTS. And of course, the people in the server market, they've been running the same thing on the same server for God knows how many years. They have the familiarity of the desktop environment, which is not real important on servers, but the familiarity needs to be there. So I think Unity 7 is going to continue to survive, not because of end users like us, so to say. I think it's going to survive because of the server deployments. And Canonical they're pretty smart cookies. They'll do something. To keep it alive.
Unity worked. 1604. I had it installed on multiple machines. It was absolutely solid.
I was watching Formula One race. I'm a motorhead. I watch motorsports. I was watching a Formula One race. It would have been it was the first or second race, like from Australia or somewhere, and they were talking about a weather report. And on that weather report, they showed a desktop on a laptop showing a radar shot of where the track was. And lo and behold, you know what they were running? Ubuntu with the Unity desktop environment.
Imagine that.
And these are eggheads that make cars go really fast. and they're running Ubuntu. So
if it wasn't for Ubuntu, I wouldn't be here. I probably would not.
To me, in my opinion, Ubuntu with Unity in general, that is pretty much, in my opinion, the Windows 7 of Linux right there.
A signature OS for Linux was Ubuntu, because you look at it and you're not saying, let me guess, is that Arch? Is that Rosa? You know it's Unity, a signature looking OS. And that is so rare to have a signature anything nowadays, because people are copying this, forking this, community this. But even today, Unity, even with the new Ubuntu with the GNOME, to try to make it Unity like, it's not. But Unity had a signature look and feel to it, and it just worked. In 1604, even like Tim says, it's, I finally dropped it because it wasn't officially being supported. Yes, there's still update, but nothing really new, But there's something, because Ubuntu used to have the GNOME 2, the pre-Mate desktop, as it were. And I keep coming back to that because it just works. It's simple. I downloaded the latest Skype, and I can see my icon on the top. It works. I noticed with the latest Skype, by the way, for Linux, it looks terrific. It feels smooth and fast. And it works. They cleaned it up. It worked. Now, sometimes with the sound, and it could be Pulse Audio, it could be milder computer. I don't know, but I'm going to try it in Windows, see if I have the same sound issues. But but other than that, it looks great.
The one thing is, with Pulse Audio in general, Pulse Audio can use a lot of improvements.
Yeah, it's hit and miss also.
Yeah, when you look at it though, when you look at the things that people say, the only reason I don't use Linux is because one of the big things is gaming, right? And from an audio standpoint with Linux, you want to do things like Skype, you want to do things like this, like we're doing right now. And you may want to listen to some tunes while you're doing some work, or you may want to throw a movie in to your laptop if you're on an airplane, something like that. The audio, I've never had audio problems. I don't know why. This is one of the things, other than volume adjustments and stuff, I've never had problems. But with the Pulse Audio debacle, which a lot of people have issues with, could that be one of the things that is holding back some of the gaming experience on Linux as well.
That could be possible.
Anything with multimedia in Linux, there's still some catching up to do. There just is.
Yep, especially if you have a NVIDIA card.
And again, I think the main problem is, in my opinion, that we don't have a national, worldwide, standardized Linux-based operating system. Say it's based off Ubuntu Debian, where, okay, now all the resources can go into that and make it work just as good as Windows and Mac, if not better. And then companies like NVIDIA, AMD, can focus on that kernel, on that operating system to make it as good. But, so we have freedom of choice, which is good. But too much of anything, even freedom, isn't necessarily a good thing, And
the hardware manufacturers have freedom to develop the hardware that they want. And when you've got, how many major hardware manufacturers do we really have right now? We can probably count it on two hands, the major hardware manufacturers. But how much resource do we have for the kernel developers? Because all the things that we're talking about start at the kernel and work their way up. How many developers do we have?
Yeah.
How many developers do we have?
It starts with the people, with the developers, Tim, putting their time, either their free time, donating their time, doing out of love. But at some point, these guys have to be paid to pay the bills,
Think about how much nicer it would be if every hardware manufacturer, let's say Dell, which Dell I think probably does, but if other people followed suit, and not just the computer makers, but the peripheral makers as well. If HP, if NVIDIA, if some of the other companies out there, stepped up and actually brought a developer in who wasn't there to develop a desktop environment or an OS. They were there to do nothing other than take the Linux kernel and come up with a kernel, say an HP Linux 4 point whatever kernel that works with Linux, works the best with their hardware, their current generation of hardware. It would solve so many problems.
Let's say there's a new Linux company.
ABC Linux.
We'll call them Awesome OS. It's a catchy name. ABC is cool, but let's make it awesome, as it were. They make all their resources go into making Awesome OS, and that's it. But they make their own version of Kdenlive called Awesome Live, guaranteed to work in Awesome OS. Their own version of a web browser, guaranteed to work, because all the resources go into that one thing only to make it as perfect as possible. And they can promote it saying this is just as good as Windows, just as good as Mac for 1/3 the cost or half the price or whatever. And we're so sure we'll give you a 30-day money-back guarantee if you buy this. And that is the only way to compete with the likes of Windows and Microsoft. I think, make it, do one thing and make it perfect. The late great Bruce Lee once said, "I fear the man who has mastered one kick 10,000 times than the other guy who's done 10,000 kicks one time," or something like that. Meaning, focus on one and be the best that you can be. So that's how I see it. And we don't have that national standard. So,
Well, the thing is, the one possible hope we have of having a mass marketable Linux desktop, it's with Google. They're starting to apply Linux apps into their Chromebooks, which we know you cannot put those Chrome apps into the Chromebooks without some sort of architecture. Most notably, they have a Debian architecture that's using those.
Yep.
So I think the best possible way for Google to do this is just take Chrome OS, redesign it, add a touch of Debian to it, and boom, there you go.
Well, I think, right now they're I've been doing a lot of look into the whole Linux apps on Chrome OS thing. Just from a standpoint with, buying simple computers for the grandkids. And, yeah, we can, again, I've said it before, we can light up the chat with all the privacy stuff and what Google does and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I use Google services because they work. And I'm willing to trade a certain level of my privacy for the convenience. I'm happy with it. I'm cool with it. And until they do something that is not transparent in my mind, I'm going to stick with it.
I'm there with you.
Exactly.
But with running the Linux apps on Google, you got to remember they have only openly been talking about doing this for about the last, news kind of broke of it at the beginning of 2018, like February thereabouts. And they have a project called Christini that is kind of the driving force behind putting the Linux apps on Chrome OS. They've only this recently started naming Chromebooks that are able to do it. And we have to remember that Google, have they done some things maybe a little bit knee-jerk, a little bit too quick for even their own good? Yeah, they have. But that's what's made them in my mind, a better provider of things like my Gmail, things like Google Drive. They've gotten better because of that. I would tend to believe that if they are putting the resources into this and they're letting the advertisement of putting those resources into running Linux apps on Chromebook, we're going to see a big evolution with what Chrome OS can do.
I still get a kick out of these names. Crostini sounds like something I put in my pasta. Hey, pasta crostini. We got dead beef player. Really, dead beef. Mastodon, great. Pick an extinct animal from your network or diaspora. We'll take Pepto-Bismol for that.
Steve, you use Google services, Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got because of Samsung, and you're right. It's cross-platform, and I can go from my laptop to my desktop to my phone.
Yeah.
And I've done a search or something like that, and I might be, later on my phone, go, oh, what was I looking at? Oh yeah, and it's, it comes right up. It just works well between all the documents, and we're even at work able to get to Google, and I've got my calendar, my daily work calendar, and all that that I pull from, and I create documents and that. It just works well.
It just works. There's something to be said for it just works. But what about your privacy? True, but it just works. What about security? True, but it just works.
To me,
security has to do with your own picking of your own password. That's you can yell about security, but at the beginning of the day, your security lies in your hands.
Exactly.
Picking passwords intelligently, and if you have to, Toss has a notebook right next to him that has passwords written into it. If you need to do something like that, do it. Pick your own password correctly. But let's face it, Google is an advertising company, and they advertise to me because of how I use their services.
Exactly.
They made that blatantly clear the minute I signed up with my first Google account. They made it blatantly clear. And you know what? For me, I've been looking at boats the last couple of weeks. And for me to type into my Google search, 20-foot inboard, outboard boat. And then I forget about looking at boats for a while. And then I go and I look at, say, CNN, or I look at something to grab a news article. And there's a banner there for a boat manufacturer that I never even thought of in my head to have a look at. As far as I'm concerned, they're doing what it is they said they were going to do. How can I complain?
To me, in my opinion, I use Google services as well. I don't mind using Google services. They just work great for me. I also don't mind using a few services from Microsoft. Like once in a while, I'll go into Outlook, check my mail, and if anything's there, I'll read it. But other than that, that's it. The thing is, put privacy aside, there are some services that both companies have, and they just work well.
Yep, they do. Woodbeast this asked, do you ever get tired of depending on Google and YouTube?
No.
Well, yeah. I mean, it would be nice to have an alternative to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
well,
it would be.
Well,
maybe not so much Google, because it's a search. But for this, yeah, it would have been like when AdSense started tanking, it would have been nice to go to AwesomeTube or whatever,
Well, the only thing I know that's closest to being what YouTube is Daily Motion.
Yeah, they lack a lot of the functionality. I don't think you can do live streaming on them. I don't think you can do live streaming. I don't think for content creators wishing to make a profession out of it, they don't have the pieces in it. But
if we were to be totally upfront about and transparent, right now there is no viable alternative to YouTube. Complete package. No. Yep. Amazon, they copyrighted, registered Amazon Tube. They got the resources. They can do like Google. They've got to pull it off, and they can say, hey, you join us. Won't cost you nothing. We will have ads. Okay, well, that's fine. But what if they said, hey, you join us, you can make more money than YouTube? How? Well, we'll have their own version of Amazon ads like AdSense, and you can have affiliate links to buy products off of Amazon. How's that?
Yep.
Sounds like a good business ship. And for this Amazon Tube, say a current user that is not doing content, is just watching videos, and they want ads removed. If you become a Prime member, you get no ads in whatever video you're watching.
It's certainly possible that if Amazon Tube came online like a YouTube, and let's say, my subscribers, what, toss too many, ads. Okay, hey, you know what? The affiliate links are working. Thank you for buying off I can shut off AdSense because of the affiliate link. Yep. But there's an option for that. With YouTube, if I shut off AdSense, well, I have Patreon, PayPal, but these are separate entities. It's not combined.
Yep.
So, but Amazon can pull it off. They can do it and do it quickly.
Woodbeast said Linux needs to come up with an out-of-the-box solution.
Yeah.
If you're talking about YouTube, boy, we sit here as either, in my case, as a YouTube user, not a content creator. And if I just try to wrap my head around all of the infrastructure that goes into creating a platform like YouTube, the Linux community, plain and simple, in my opinion, does not have the ability to do it right now. Would they ever invest their time and effort into it? Who knows? But you got to remember, we're not talking about a team of people stretched out across the globe creating a distribution and putting it on, say a dozen different mirrors for us to download and run the distribution. We are talking about significant investment. You got to think of it from the standpoint, everything that happens on YouTube, guys, it's almost like owning a house and you go out and buy a new living room set or a bedroom set every single hour of every single day. Sooner or later, you're going to run out of room and you're going to need a bigger house and a bigger house and a bigger house and a bigger house. And that infrastructure, you almost need to have a lot of that in place to be able to survive for the next, say, 3 to 5 years. Because if your platform takes off, and before you know it, you don't have space for all the content creators or the uploaders, at the end of the day, your platform is going to take a crap on you. Because you'll go to watch something and it'll say, nope, too many users online, or not enough bandwidth, or God knows what.
I can agree with that.
It would take just a boatload of money. And Linux distributions do not have boatloads of money. The developers for a lot of these distributions, yeah, they can be on foundations. They get money from different foundations and, you know, private investment, you know, private donations and stuff like that. You know, there is not, I would tend to believe that there is not a developer of a Linux distribution outside of maybe a few that are driving around in a Maserati and have an 8,000 square foot house. So where would the investment come from?
There are content creators on YouTube who have been doing it as long as I have, and loggers since the beginning. You know, and these guys, you know, I don't know how much they make off of YouTube and sponsorship and AdSense, but these guys are worth, because of the knowledge they have and the personality and just the humanity they bring to all this. These guys are worth, in salary, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, in my opinion, because what they do and have, it's rare. It's not everybody can do this and do it with, you know, with the sense of humanity, but I know sensitivity and understanding. And some of them are making that, some of them are not. You know, it's just the way this works. That's why, yeah, it would be great to have a viable alternative to YouTube.
Would it be a possible solution if some of these top content creators from YouTube came together as a quorum and said,
yeah,
you know, I mean, we're talking about some of these top earners that are getting millions of hits per month. Would that be viable? It probably would.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Sure.
There's one thing about YouTube that I find very curious. I mean, they have a website, you have an app that's on every mobile device, but there's one territory they have not conquered yet. What if they were to, for example, make, for the first time ever, which they've never done this, a desktop application?
For YouTube?
Yeah.
You know, nowadays, from my opinion, as more of a user above all things, they're not going to do that, because how many people run outside of an Office application, or if they're doing things like Toss is doing and Steve is doing content creation, how many apps, honestly, how many apps would you need on your desktop? For me, if I have an Office suite and I have a web browser, I'm good to go.
I agree.
So many things, and Chrome OS has proven they're not that popular as yet, but they've proven that anything that an average user, when we're talking about 99.999, however many nines there, of the users that are on, that you pick up a computer day in and day out, that's the people they're going to cater to, because that's where their money is. Why would you create yet another desktop app that you have to go out and hire people to develop, people to maintain, when you can do everything right inside of your web browser? And then on top of that, so many things are going to mobile devices. I watch more hours of YouTube on my Android than I watch on my computer. Way more.
Yeah, I mean, I got mine set up with ICE on Peppermint, and it's like having an app, and you never have to worry about the program having to update, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And when you take the ICE thing like they have in Peppermint, I can see, I think Elementary has something called WebPin or something as such. It's kind of like the ICE application in Peppermint. I could see Chrome OS, the people at Google, right now, as they're working through the rough edges of bringing the Linux apps to the Chrome OS desktop, I could see them adopting something as simple as ICE or WebPin, where you go to a website, you find the app that you want, and if you're able to run it through a web browser, you create the app on the desktop, and if it happens to be something you have to download a package or an executable of some type file, you download that and it creates the desktop app. But really, honestly, how many, even Microsoft, how long has Office 365 been around? 3, 4, 5 years?
Yeah.
Even Microsoft is moving away from desktop apps.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll still be on the Windows desktop in one way, shape, or form, but they're moving to centralized applications that essentially are run off of a web server on your desktop. The only thing that your machine is nothing other than memory to have enough things open, enough storage to have in and out.
The machine is a content grabber because Steven Anderson says he's watching this on his desktop on his TV.
Yep.
This machine, your machine, and you can do it with the desktop, a tablet, a laptop, whatever. You know, it's a content grabber. It's information to make you smarter, smile, laugh, cry, whatever. It is an emotion generator, not just a content grab. When you think about it, it is an emotion generator for whatever mood you're into tonight. Like last night, we talked about a bunch of things. We had a lot of laughs. You know, tonight it's mainly information. You know, but it's a content, information, emotion magic box that people are tuned into. You know. And it's not going to go away. It's going to grow, and because it's convenient, and they can watch it on TV, on the phone, a tablet. It's instant gratification, instant news, right there.
Well, I mean, whether you want news, weather, sports, traffic, whatever you need to do, YouTube has it all. That's why it's so good. It has everything that you need that you would find on any old TV box or TV station.
Lavo says, "Who's the guy with the gray shirt? What's his name?" Hey, it's Tim. Show him respect. He's spot on with the tech BS going on. Well, we all try to be.
Well, yeah, we try to be, but from my standpoint, if I read the news, I mean, honestly, the news that I have on in my house, whether it be on my machine in front of me or the TV next to me, is business news. That's predominantly what I watch, and I catch the headlines from the business channels.
Yeah.
And of course, the business channel is not going to talk about whatever our president said or didn't say unless it's big. I listen to more of the things that have to do with technology and the business world. And of course, the business world right now is a lot about technology.
Woodby says, why could you not do this stream hosted on my own Linux server, not YouTube? I could, but now it goes down to resources. That's sure it could be done. Absolutely. Yeah. Hello, Daniel. Welcome.
Hi, Daniel. Woodbeast said, why would the stream not be hosted on your own Linux server and not YouTube? Well, the simple answer to that is money. It's going to cost you money to have your own Linux server, and then you're going to have to figure out how to generate revenue off of the stream. So that means you not only have to have your own Linux server, you have to have your own dedicated sponsors of the show.
Right.
And going out and getting dedicated sponsors of a Linux show, you have better chances of putting toothpaste back in the tube.
Yeah, I don't know of any Linux channels that have, say, a minimum 100,000 subscribers. I haven't seen any. And that's what it would take to get just a little bit of interest from sponsors.
Yep.
But Windows and Mac, you will find them because that's where the market's at. Gaming. But it's kind of resources. Yeah.
It's kind of a catch-22 because if you happen to be one of those 100,000 subscribers and say you set up your own Linux server and ran your own stream off of a website, then as you get bigger and bigger and bigger, there's going to be higher demand for your content. And what do you want to spend time doing? Chasing advertisers or creating content?
Boy, ain't that the truth.
And of course, at the end of the day, if you're a business owner, you're going to do everything from empty the garbage can and clean the toilets, all the way up to making the executive decisions. But where can you spend time? Because there's only a certain amount of time in the day.
It's a new up until a couple years ago, I was focusing on content. But when AdSense went down the tubes, now I've had to focus equal time on resources, getting resources to do this. And that's double the work that me and a lot of people are saying, really? This is what I'm doing this for? But But that's just the reality of it. Yeah.
It looks like people are saying goodbye and Big Daddy. I don't know how much longer you wanna keep this one going. Do you want me to throw a plug onto Big Daddy's chat and just say, hey,
that's all right. That's right. It's 12:30. He usually ends his stream. Oh, it's cool, man. Big Daddy's cool. You know,
We usually
bail on here. I don't have a problem with that. You know, yeah. You know.
We usually end around 1 a.m. or so.
Yeah, I mean that won't be on too much longer. So, but you know, it's all good. Would be so I'm not explaining my point. Sorry, I'm not talking making money, just content. Well, to make the content, you got to have the money, the resources, to have the tools available to make all this content. Yeah, that's just the reality. See the beginning, like when I wasn't doing live shows, you know, and I was doing tutorials in Linux. It was a hobby. I didn't care, you know. But as the channel grew and wanted to do more and more and more, you know, you can't continue doing what I do with older hardware or putting no money in my pocket. Everything goes back in the channel. In fact, it's been less and less. I've had to take money out of my pocket to put back into the channel, which takes more time looking for resources. Anyway, I don't want to play this record over and over again because that's not the point of my channel. But that's just the reality, you know. And so it is a catch-22. So would be, I get what you're coming from. Absolutely. But when AdSense was working for me, and it was growing, you know, it was growing, but then it just crashed. So it's either I give this up. Obviously, the people who follow this don't want me to, you know, don't want me to stop doing this. And I enjoy doing it, you know. But anyway. All right. Decent remote Linux server costs $250, $400 a month. To be safe, I would probably double that. Yeah.
I threw a comment into Big Daddy's chat and said, those who aren't ready for bed, Toss is still going strong.
It's the late Linux show, right? Yeah.
And a couple of people came back and said, what's bed mean? And oh man.
Yeah. Level says high standards. I hope the channel has a high enough standard. You know, it's I think I do. I think over the years I've learned to focus on, well, in the beginning I was focusing on Linux tutorials, learning myself as a newbie. But as the years went by, I focused on the humanity first. You put humanity first, then the technology. You know. You know, all those videos I did, Linux versus Windows, it was trying to honestly compare. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't to make a firestorm out of things. I don't do this as much anymore, you know.
But let's face it, on YouTube, in my mind, there's two types of content creators on YouTube.
Yeah.
They're the people that are doing the repeated multiple time a day, 2 to say 5 or 6 or 7 minute posts, and they're going after kind of a shock and awe type of a premise. And then there's the people that are doing the long-standing content, whether it be a live stream like this or it be something longer, you know, that's say a half hour in length, that really delves into a topic. It's not just something, it's not like a disappearing headline that's here now and it's gone a minute from now. And the people that are doing these shock and awe, you know, a headline that's here and then gone in 5 minutes, yeah, they'll get a lot of views, but at the end of the day, what are they doing it for? Are they doing it only because they want to make as much money as they possibly can?
It's a sellout. It's a quick buck to buy their new Ferrari or Cadillac, or you know, and that's not me, you know. You know.
And the content, to me, the content isn't about what the content is. It's about the people providing it. Those are the people that I'm drawn to.
I agree. Hey, Steve, what OS do you run?
Peppermint. I'm on my HP laptop right now. I got 9 on that. On my big desktop, I have Peppermint 8, which I'll probably just leave on there for a while because I don't feel like migrating all my stuff off and back and forth. That's why I don't do a lot of distro hopping. But 9's working good right on it. Yeah, and the HP is going to be my test. I was given like several computers by my brother-in-law. I just got to get a couple more hard drives to get those running.
Very nice.
I want to give a quick shout out to Daniel. Daniel, if you want to join in, I'll send you. I won't be on too much longer, but he says, I try to give you the most support I can so you can stay around. That says a lot. That says volumes to me, not so much as but as a human being. You know, here's someone who gives when he can because he feels it's the right thing to do. You know, I'm assuming that's what Daniel thinks, you know, and I completely get it, you know.
In my opinion, the best feeling in the world for a human being is when somebody else reaches out their hand for you and you take it. It really impacts you. It really does.
Well, again, as the years have gone on with this channel, I try to put the humanity first. Even when people who left, you know, uncool comments, there are times I just wanted to zing them, strike back with my New York attitude and say, no, you know what, Toss, don't go there.
Yeah.
Now, I did once or twice, and somebody said, gee, you told them, Toss. I'm like, did I really? What did I tell them? You know,
was at the end of the day, was it a waste of your time?
Probably. You know, but then there were some where I said, you know what? There's one lady on YouTube. I won't mention her name. I guess she's an atheist. I'm not, but that's cool. We know we have freedom of choice. And she was making fun of people making fun of her or hating her. And I think I made a comment, you know, I don't believe what you believe, or I'm not an atheist, but thank you for making me laugh. I think you're a cool human being. And one of her followers, or multiple, appreciated what I had to say because regardless of their beliefs, I treated that person like a human being. You know, what's one of the 10 commandments? Treat others like you would like to be treated. Hello.
Yeah, my wife, you know, growing up with her sister, was always fighting, and her sister would go, "You're stupid," and my wife would reply, "Why, thank you," and then totally disarm what her sister was trying to do.
Yep.
And one of the easiest things to do as a human being is wanting to strike back, and it's not always the right thing. You know, I typed to Toss earlier when I first got into Linux. He's actually one of the first providers that I found that wasn't negative in that. Him, Joe Collins, in the early days, you know, Spat Tree a little bit. A couple guys I won't name, you know, just who are still going to certain content providers and, you know, having to make a long diatribe of what they said was wrong. For what point? You know, you don't like it. It's like TV. You change the channel, you know, that you need to show how smart you are.
Right.
You know, if you don't like what that person's providing, move on. On YouTube, there's hundreds of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a great, and I've said it before, it's a fantastic, awesome time for content consumers. It's really good for content creators like myself. It's a challenge, you know, that's just the way things are right now. But for content consumers, I envy you guys, you know, not just you, but everybody on YouTube. There's a lot of choice. There's a lot of garbage too, but you can sit through that.
Yeah.
You know,
the problem is that we're a society based on kind of instant gratification. And the problem is that sometimes you do have to look through the barrel of apples that may seem spoiled to get to a good one. It may take some time, and have some patience and sift through. Yeah. That's what I did. That's how I got. Yeah. That's how I found Total OS today, and that's ultimately how Toss and I struck up a relationship. You have to sift through some of the BS to get to the good stuff.
Exactly.
And if you're not willing to do that, I feel really bad for you. I feel really, really bad for you. And if you're going to sit down and if you're going to spend time on YouTube and look at a large variance of content creators, you know, you can watch a video just like a TV show.
Yeah.
You can give it 5 minutes and see what you like. And if you don't like it, move on to the next. Maybe revisit it later on, but move on to the next. Have a look at it. And if it works for, and again, just like the OSs, if you watch a content creator and if they work for you, keep watching them.
Yes. Hi, Daniel.
Hello, can you hear me?
Absolutely. Welcome.
Good evening. Good evening, sir.
Yes, I'm getting used to going through the ropes to switch everything over for a hangout.
Mugen says you need a monster machine if you're going to do this for real. Yeah. Tell me about that, Mugen. Yeah.
You need what I have.
What do you have?
I have a monster machine, both in size and power.
Oh, okay.
But cool. I built it myself, and it wasn't cheap.
No, and it has a flux capacitor on the side.
What I'm not impressed with is, like we've been saying, the desktop computer is slowly dying, but the gamers are the ones that are supporting it. So it's hard to buy parts that aren't full of LED lighting and all that. The inside of my computer looks like a disco ball. It's just that way now. But
yeah.
One of the things for me, I mean, I've been doing content for YouTube off and on for at least 10 years since 2008. The one thing I found is when it comes for me personally making content, this is just my opinion. The one thing that gives me joy is when people when you know people are watching your content, you know you're doing something right. Because when I make videos every Tuesday and Thursday, which I release 2 on both of those days, after I make those videos, I go and check my subscriber count, and I see if anybody's been watching. And if somebody's been watching, that's good for me. To me, I don't do what other YouTubers do, like place your comments in the description bar below, because I know they're going to talk anyway. And I don't really ask for likes. The only thing as a YouTuber, in my perspective, that just brings me joy is when I know people are watching my content, and that makes me feel good. It really does.
You know, after we did the cyberbullying video here a couple of weeks ago, I think I had shared with Toss, but we had a really good conversation that night. It was good. It had a lot of really good content to it. And after we were done with that, I had given people my one Gmail account. So if there's anything, if you need to reach out to anybody, by all means do. I got an email, and one person, said you need to be doing the same thing that Total OS Today is doing, and some of the other guys are doing. And from my aspect, I don't have time. Secondly, I would have a problem. I honestly would have a problem coming up with content that, and it's not that it would be a competitive thing to me in any way, shape, or form, but I just don't think I'd be able to come up with content that would be anything different than what people are already saying. And the people that are already saying it, I appreciate the way they do it more than I believe I could do it myself. And that, so doing the content creation, I can see where there's a huge benefit where you put your time and effort and your resource into creating what you feel is good content, and then somebody swings by and they give it a look and they give you that thumbs up. I can understand where that would be really gratifying. And that, but the thing is you can't just, for people like Toss, that is really cool for him. But at the end of the day, he has to have the money come in to be able to do the to do the channel. He needs to continue that. and having all of the kudos and the pats on the back, that's all great. And you know what? There are things that go far beyond money. Believe me, I know. But at the end of the day, you still have to be studious with what the resources are that you have coming in and what you're spending and what you have left over, because inevitably, like Toss, he's going to want to grow the channel.
Doing.
Oh, did you see that?
Hey, I didn't get a kiss.
Oh,
God.
They're going, oh, how cute.
Wasn't that cute?
Oh boy.
Anyway, well, on that note, goodbye. No, just kidding.
One of the guy's wife this week.
Yeah,
that was human, obviously.
Yeah.
So
That was Mrs. Steve.
yeah, lucky dog, you. No, but
Toss, it's quite obvious that you have the gift for actually communicating with people, and that is a gift.
Thank
Not
you.
everybody can do that.
thank you.
it's called
That's-
Italian.
That's one of the things that stopped me. Is for number one, like Tim said, I'd have a hard time developing fresh content that hasn't been rehashed by every other Linux person or technology person that we have on YouTube right now. I'd probably be just repeating the same thing in my own way.
And
I don't have the personality for it.
Doing the right thing, and this feels like what I've been doing for years, doing this, and just to me, this feels like I'm doing the right thing. It's personally and spiritually gratifying. Okay. And it is, because I think you guys see it.
Yes, you seem like a very genuine person.
And it personally feels great, because this is where I belong. I would feel more comfortable talking to 10,000 people than trying to cook fettuccine alfredo pasta, because I'm not used to. I can't, but talking to 10,000 people, no problem. 100,000,
Well, you know what? We feel it too on the other side of the wires.
That's the payback. That's the pay, as it were. That's the right. Does it make sense? That's
Yes.
the reward.
The thing is there's
The reality is doing the right thing doesn't pay the bills sometimes.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't take care of the equipment you need to do it and all that other stuff.
Right. But it does.
Toss is doing it. He's not forcing anything. I can tell you this. I've spent a lot of time talking to Carmine offline about some things that are very close to him. And you know what? Some of these other people on YouTube, and I'm not blasting anybody. I'm not blasting anybody at all. The premise in which they come across on their channel, provide the content. I would wonder, quite honestly, if this is a person that I could get to know personally away from this machine, and somebody I'd sit down and have a cold beer with, maybe have some commonality with, and we could sit down, we could laugh, joke, cry, yell, and scream, and at the end of the day, still be friends.
Like EB.
I agree.
I agree too.
And Tops comes across the way that he is in real life, folks. There is no frosting on this cake. What you see is what you get. So, and I hope that people that watch this later on understand that. This is not
just to go off topic. If Lunduk is live streaming now, Mugen, and you tell him Toss is on, and I'm calling Uncle Guido.
Well, he's replaying old stuff. I kind of looked at it earlier. He's actually replaying like 1 or 2 year old videos. He's streaming them.
And he's making them live.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's cheating.
If
he's rehashing stuff and it's coming over my lines like it is, it's showing it as he's doing a live broadcast. It's live.
I mean, I've done live past highlights, but I've been upfront with that. You know what I mean? I'm saying, hey, like some of the news and now, let's take a listen to this together in case you missed it, and I'll do it live. But it's not. I mean, it's not really new. I mean, it's new with me talking, making comments about it. Anyway, Steve Patterson says Linux sucks. That's what he's showing.
Yep.
Okay, well, those are good ones. At least he's repeating all the funny stuff.
Yep. He still hasn't gotten in touch with you, not Tops. No word from me.
I don't have his email. Mugen, I saw your email, but where's his email address? And if it's the one that's on his YouTube channel, I sent him. Hey, hello.
Can't you get to him through he has a website. I think it's lunduke.com.
Maybe I'll try that. Yeah. Maybe I'll try that. Yeah.
That might be the best way to contact him.
Yeah. Maybe I'll try that. I did not try that. No. I use his contact mail on YouTube. That's because it was just convenient. I was already on YouTube, so maybe I can try that. I'm not blaming you, Mugen. It's not your fault. I know.
I personally, in my opinion, if you and Lunduke were to get together, I know for a genuine 100% fact, as God is my witness, this community that is here right now will have a lot of questions for Brian about many different things.
I mean, if you wanted to chat with me, it wouldn't be because I want to put him on the spot or anything. You know, I just wanted to chat.
No. That's not what I'm saying. No, I wouldn't. I wasn't referring to that. Basically, when I said asking questions like what are his opinions on certain areas of Linux technology, that sort of thing.
Okay.
You know, his I'm looking at lunduke.com, and there actually is not a, unless I'm completely missing it, there is, his website is way different than what it used to be.
There's no way to contact him?
Lunduke? Oh, yeah, there is. Brian, B-R-Y-A-N.
Okay.
At lunduke.com.
I think I tried that. I don't know. I don't know, Mugen. I don't know. What am I missing?
Also,
what's up?
Also, Toss, besides Brian Lunduke, I think another person that would be a very good guest for one of your shows, Matt Hartley.
Sure. Mugen says he is easily reachable. I would have to disagree, but that's just me. Especially since he wants to start up a live studio thing, like a daily show or something. That is very, not just money, that's a time consuming. I don't think he has the time. I don't think now with his plans, Mugen, I don't think he is easily reached. I just don't think, because where's he going to find the time? You know, seriously, you know.
Destiny or Big Daddy just ended. I think we're gonna have. I think we may have an influx of folks.
Okay, Mugen says, "Come on, Todd. It's a new era in communication. I know I can call Uncle Guido, but do I really have to go that route?"
We cannot reach your call, but if you leave a name, number, and a free message, we will get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you. Goodbye.
Yeah, somebody comment. I look like a call center person with this thing on. Thank you for calling, Toss. How may I direct your call? Well, somebody put freaking Lunduke on the line. Well, Mugen, since you know all the tricks, you tell him to reach me.
Yeah, Mugen.
Yeah, you seem to know more than I do, and that's fine. I'm willing to learn. You know, I'll be the student.
I think what you need to do is just get a carrier pigeon, put a little note on it that says, "No, give Toss a call," and point it to Portland. He's in Portland, isn't he? Point that bird towards. Yeah, he's not too far from Microsoft.
No, what I'll do is I'll send him the pigeon with the little, instead of a note, I'll put it like a little map of Sicily to send a message. You know.
No, he's in Seattle. He's in Seattle. That's right. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put a little map of Sicily. I said, look, if you don't call, your channel will sleep with the fishes.
Hey, Toss.
I'm joking.
From a PR standpoint, I think he may be a little off there.
Oh, man. That would be interesting conversation. I did get your mail. Yes, Mugen. I did. Yes, I did. Well, if he's so gung-ho to talk to me, he should contact me. You know.
Yeah, what the hell is he waiting for, huh?
I'm just a lowly peasant compared to him.
I mean, Toss, you're right here anyway. He could just easily reach you.
Yeah, he can reach me. Yeah, you know, because he's a lot busier than I am. You know.
I mean, all he has to do is come to Google Hangouts, press a button, and say, "Hey."
No, Mugen, I cannot read. I was an English major, and I cannot read.
You know what? If he wasn't horsing around playing the old live stream stuff on his channel right now, if he had any sense whatsoever, he'd be watching Total OS today, right now, and he should be breaking his fingers tapping out an email to you to get on.
I'm back. I had a malfunction.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, was this biological malfunction or a computer malfunction?
Computer froze up again. It hasn't done that in a week and a half.
No.
It's starting to irritate me. It just out of the blue does that once every week and a half to 2 weeks.
What are you running right now, Daniel?
Mint 18.3.
Really?
Yeah, the old
not bad.
Well, it works good when it wants to work, but every now and then it just gives up the ghost and everything freezes up and you can't break it loose for nothing. Maybe you don't need a machine like mine.
Did you yank down an update recently that had a kernel update in it?
I don't think so.
There's something goofy with before I settled on Ubuntu 16.04. There's an update it was the 4.15 kernel and their I can't remember 26 or 27 or something.
Well, I just got an update for Linux kernel 14.15.0.29. 29
should be workable for you. There's something with the mid 20s, 25, 26 somewhere in there that kind of tripped me up too. But 29 is what I've got running right now. The dash 29. It's solid.
Let me see what's running.
But then again, I'm running a computer with a flux capacitor on the side of it either.
Yeah. It shows active 14.15-24.
Interesting.
That's what you're on right now?
Yeah, it's got the 415-24 active.
Okay. That might be your problem. When you get off the stream, grab your kernel update and see if that helps.
My new kernel update?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, gentlemen, it's almost 1 o'clock. I'm going to be getting off for the night, okay?
Okay, guy. Take care, Ricky.
All right. Have a good night.
He's going to go in and join the party. That's what he's going to do.
The party? Oh, boy.
Yeah, I think he said last night when he was on and there was all that background noise that his grandmother was in the other room watching TV. I think I caught that from Ricky. I think his grandma needs to get new batteries for the hearing aid maybe because the TV was pretty loud.
Wow. Yeah, that happens a lot with old people.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I don't have old people here, and it's happening right now.
Yeah.
Mugen, just to let you know, Mugen, and thank you for trying to get me and Brian together. But if I really, really wanted to use my attitude to get Brian's attention, I don't want to go that route. You know what I mean?
What did I miss on that?
I don't want to go that route. Yeah. What's that?
I had brought up the comment that he's restreaming old stuff and putting it out as live, and then I said that he was cheating, and then my computer decided to cheat on me.
Oh, Colin is in the house. Welcome. Too many day dwellers in the YouTube Linux community. Too many day dwellers? No.
Colin. Hey guys.
No, we did not have enough yesterday, okay?
You didn't have enough of us yesterday.
Colin, come back. Should I get the Vegemite?
No.
Oh, no, that was enough. Yes.
Not again.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Hey, Colin.
Hi, Colin.
Hi, Colin.
Yeah, you missed it, Colin. We were talking about how cassettes are making a comeback. You can pick up a nice used cassette deck on eBay for just $4,000. Nice.
And you can use Vegemite to repair the tapes.
Yeah. Use it as a heat sink for the motor or the...
No,
it's Vegemite.
Vegemite. You can use it to grease the motor in it.
Yeah. A lot of the old media is making a strong comeback. Vinyl records are like now being a mainstream thing. I was surprised I went into Target, and Target actually has a small rack of newly pressed vinyl records. They have new presses of Pink Floyd, The Wall, and
nice.
The Beatles, Abbey Day, and just all kinds of classic stuff. Prince, Purple Rain. I actually picked up the Journey album. They had the greatest hits, but it's the second one, not the first one. The first one is red. The second one's blue.
Okay.
And I collect vinyl records, kind of not real bad. I'm not totally invested in nuts, but I tend to search for them LPs that have at least 3 good hit songs on them or more.
Okay.
If I'm going to go any lower than that, I might as well just get 45s.
Yeah.
And I live in Michigan. I don't know if you've heard of Ann Arbor. Ann Arbor has 4 vinyl record stores.
Wow.
And 2 of them deal with used media, meaning you can take some of your stuff in and sell it or trade it for something you want.
Okay.
And
we have a place like that in Minnesota too. They do books, CDs, vinyl, and I think they actually may have some cassettes too. But you can bring in your books, and they'll give you credit. You can use the credit to grab a CD or something.
Yeah, we got it's called Half Price Books here.
That's what it is here too, Steve.
Records are kind of unique and have a history of their own. This one store in Ann Arbor, they have cassettes. If you want those, they have used cassettes. They have used even 8 tracks. They have also really old 78-speed records. And most people don't know this. When you get a 78-speed record, you need a special needle to play that. You can't use your 33 1/3 on it. Yeah, they require a different needle.
Then no. Interesting. I wonder why.
Because the grooves are made much wider.
Okay.
And it requires a larger needle to operate in them.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I got an old turntable. I got to take it out mothballs when I feel like it, but
Yeah, Joe Collins just posted a video on his turntable that he got because he used to work in radio back in the day, and he's got a big 45 collection.
Yep. It was a good video. I don't know. Did you watch it, Steve?
Yeah.
I didn't catch about the last 5 minutes or so, but it's pretty informative.
Was Joe Collins over in the chat?
No. Joe's I think he's kind of taking a break from, I read his blog post on his website. He's kind of taking a break from, I think, kind of the Linux side of life, it would appear.
I think it sounded like he got burned out.
Yeah, he got hammered because he did that the one on Windows 10, and I won't mention his name. It's someone that I stopped following, but someone who did a long diatribe on, why he was wrong and that, and again, it wasn't necessary that this person did it. And Joe has been. I mean, he's one of the early ones too. After you, that I started following, that got me into Linux.
Yep.
Yeah, I did watch one video where someone or persons went into like I've been there, been through that, done that, and it's it can be difficult not to let it get to you. It can be, but if I had let things like that get to me in the beginning, I wouldn't be here.
Yep.
But I think in my situation, when I started this channel, 8 years ago, and my son was a little toddler, I wanted to be an example to him as he grew up on how to treat people and how to react. So I guess I got my strength through my son growing and seeing him grow and watching him learn, and so that I think helped me a little bit. But it can get to you sometimes, sure. But you just gotta, just brush it off,
Exactly.
Can't stand Lunduke, Alan. Okay. He's fine. I've always enjoyed his stuff, his live things he does. Linux sucks, and I think he did Windows sucks too, didn't he, or something?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Linux sucks again.
Okay, yeah.
I have a question. Some of the first stuff that I watched on YouTube and the podcast I listened to was I can't remember the name of it, but it was Chris Fisher and Matt Hartley used to be on with them.
Yes.
Linux Action Show.
Yeah, Linux Action Show. Is that even still around?
No,
anymore? Isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Because
it's Linux Action News or something like that.
Yeah,
it's not Action Show. That was done after I forget how many years.
Okay.
But that used to be Brian and Chris Fisher, where Brian would come on and say, "It's time." He had this patented, "It's time for the Linux Action Show" or something like that, But I remember when they had what's his name on, Richard Stallman.
Yeah.
And Richard Stallman says something like, "The Brian's married with a couple kids," and I think Richard said so. Yeah. I think Richard said something like, to save planet Earth, people need to stop having kids. And Brian had that look at his face like, what did I just hear? It was priceless. And I told Brian, that was, to me as a dad, it was priceless. Like, you're freaking nuts, dude. that's the impression on his face. And then Brian was trying to be nice and be respectful, and I appreciate it. But you can tell in the back of his mind, he's thinking, "Get me off this freaking show," But
because Chris Fisher, when I started watching the Linux Action Show, it was Chris Fisher and Matt Hartley, and I think Chris Fisher essentially moved on, didn't he, or is he still?
Yeah, no, he does other. He does live stream with somebody else or something. There was they did a show on where something like people in the Linux community were overblowing this privacy thing, a security thing with data collection, and it doesn't help the Linux community. I mean, I didn't agree with what they had to say, But no, he still does this thing, yeah. I think he was on with some guy named Noah, something.
Yep.
Noah, or I think I'm not 100%.
I saw him on Twitter a while ago, and by the way they looked at it, Chris Fisher was in a motorhome. I'm not sure if that was out of necessity because of something that had happened, or if
maybe a traveling show or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know. Like I said, I used to watch him and Brian on the Linux Action Show. It was mainly because of Brian. Nothing against Chris, Yep. Richard Stallman is a foot eater. What? What? He's a zombie?
A foot eater? Oh my goodness!
Come on, Lavos, don't leave us hanging. Actually, a second thought, don't go there. Just forget about it.
Does that make him a toe sucker too?
Hey Dan, are you did you shut your camera off on purpose?
Yes.
You did. Okay. I didn't know if you were having OS issue again.
No, I killed it for a minute.
Okay.
You know what he's doing right now?
Eating the
Come here.
Vegemite?
Come here, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
He's
like,
he's got a piece of toast and he's putting Vegemite on it.
I know.
Very funny.
Stallman ate crap from his foot. Really? Well, on that footnote.
There we go. I think I'm going to turn into a pumpkin, guys.
Yeah, it's after one. I think I'm about ready to wrap. All right, final call for comments, suggestions, and then I think it's 1:10 a.m. local. So thank you everyone who joined in the chat. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for the invite tonight, Toss.
Absolutely,
cool.
Absolutely. So any last minute things that we missed, question that we missed? This is it. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm ready for bed.
Okay, for you people over in the chat, if you can actually spend a few dollars, send it over to Toss to help him with his equipment issues and keep his channel running. We need to find some funding for Toss so he can get what he needs to keep on the air and give us our weekly dose of laughter and happiness and Linux.
I got to give you the fix with the laughter loots.
The fix, and any amount would probably help, and I'm sure that Toss would really appreciate it. He's somebody that we really don't want to fade away.
Why don't I use Arch, AJ? I like my sanity.
Let me go get that.
Me too.
Let me go get that frying pan.
That's why. Look, Arch is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. For power users, and if I was more an advanced user, I probably would want to tinker with it. But it's just matter of time, learning something new, but that's one. There's nothing wrong with. I think a couple of years I posted a poll: vote for your favorite Linux, and Arch came #1. I would have to agree. Not for newbies, but for Linux in general, it's wonderful, Art. It's just not for me, and I can't, because this channel was built on the premise of helping newbies or semi-newbies. You just can't tell to use Arch. I remember DistroTube last month said he had a video saying, folks, please stop telling your family or friends to use Arch or something like that. You know, for the first time anyway. So, you know.
Arch can be made easy. Manjaro is an Arch derivative, and it's packaged a little more easier to use. But on the back side of it, it's not changed much, and it's still an Arch distro, and you can still destroy it the same way as a regular Arch.
It's not the type of Linux universe to give to somebody new. It would not be fair. You know, so now after a while, someone gets more acclimated, more advanced to Linux, sure, give Arch a try. I think it's a great learning experience. But to answer your question, why I don't use Arch, I don't want to spend more time tinkering, learning things. You know, I'm comfortable with what I use. It works. You know, I'm always willing to try something new, as it were, or something different. And I've tried Arch-based. I've tried Manjaro. It didn't work out for me. You know,
the Debian distros seem to be the derivatives of them too. Seem to be the more playable options for stability. You know, you have your Debian, and then you have your Ubuntu that came from Debian, and Mint and Peppermint and all those. And those seem to be something that works out best without much hiccuping.
It would seem that way, and easier to fix something or find a solution.
Right.
Debian or Ubuntu. It just seems that way. In my 10 years, more than since 2006 of messing with Linux, it just seems that way. You know,
I've always been able to find a fix on the internet for just about anything I come across. Except this freezing problem, but but I was locked out of my machine. It would not boot up, and it gave me this message to use fsuck. Basically, it's fsck And then I Googled it, and it said, use that command, and then use the directory that it's calling to use, and paste it in front of it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I did.
All right.
It went through a bunch of log files and actually repaired them and restored a distro that I thought that I could never recover from.
Okay. Here, picture this. This is why Linux has not gone mainstream, like over 2%. Hey, newbie. Yeah. Okay. I want you to try this distro. It's easy to install. Here's a spare UI. Okay. Now look. If it crashes and it says F suck, I want you to. That person's gonna say, think about it. F suck.
Wow.
Really? Real sure. Let me play with F suck. Yay. Anyway.
Yeah, that's basically what it says. FCK.
Oh,
I think that's the file checker, isn't it?
I think or something.
Yeah,
like
I think it's something like that when I read it. But when I'm looking like at F, it looks like F suck, but it's FC. It's FSCK. And then when you run that command, and after that, the directory.
It's to repair the yeah. Oh, God.
Your distro was telling you what to go do to yourself.
I know. It was saying, what? You're using Arch? Man.
I always thought that it would be really fun to get a job from a week at a car manufacturer. And you know how when you turn it on, now all the cars, they either have the little welcome thing down in the dash where your odometer is, or they have the screen comes up and it says, hi, welcome, nice to see you today, or something like that. I always thought it would be funny just to put like arbitrary, an arbitrary question or a comment in it, but it would only play once. So when you go in and you start your car, it would come up and say, what are you doing with your life? And then it would never show it again. Or do you know where your wife is tonight? This just have it say it once. People would be like, what the hell is this? I always thought that would just be funny to do.
She's gonna find out.
Yep. Yeah. You start your car. Who's watching you? Who's in the back seat?
I remember a scene out of the old airplane movies, and they would come out with these random questions or answers, like there's people online at an airport and they're at the information desk, like general information, right?
Yeah.
So the first person asks a question: when does flight 24 leave to New York? 10:45. Next, how fast does a cheetah run? 70 miles an hour. Next, should I fake my orgasms? Yes. Next.
Yeah.
Oh man,
classic. God, those are classic. That and the ones with Leslie Nielsen, Naked Gun.
Police Story, Naked Gun.
Oh my God, they were a riot in the 90s. They did like 3 of them. The best graphic joke was a newspaper headline, and he's reading it, and in the front, a headline says "Dyslexia for Cure Found." Not to make fun of the slang, I'm just saying it as a prop, as a joke, it was funny. But
and don't call me Shirley.
And don't call me Shirley. Yeah, right. Oh boy, techie humor. Yes, techie humor. Right. What would life be without humor? Right. So, yeah, of course I love comedy. Hey, I use Linux. How can I not love comedy?
You got to be able to laugh if you're using this OS. That's for sure.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, in using Linux, I've had more problems when I think back with 95 and 98 than I have had in the 3 years being on Linux, and it's been easier to fix.
Well,
I think everybody forgets that.
It's gotten better. It's gotten easier. Look, Windows 10 is my backup OS. I couldn't say that before. And I have noticed too with Windows 10, with more and more updates, and it seems like Windows 10's got slightly slower. It's bogged down. And come on, Windows. Come on, Microsoft. Jeez, But yeah. Anyway, all right. Mil, hi. Hola. But I have to say adios. It's time for bed. Sorry.
It's about time you got here. See you later.
I know, Mil. Where you freaking been?
You've even picked up a few users.
I'm gonna go let the dog out.
Ooh, let the dogs out. Ooh.
Woof, woof, woof. I knew that was coming.
Thank you for letting me slip in that joke. Okay. All right,
Dan,
guys, I'm
take
out of
care.
here. Thank
Take
you.
care.
Keep
Take
in
care,
touch.
Dan.
Okay.
Okay.
Ciao. Thank
Take
you.
care, guys.
Ciao.
Bye. Bye-bye.